The internet is a forever archive, so there's no, I regret delete all button.
Anisa is just trying to exist. Just the amount of hate and harassment my wife Anisa has received over the years.
Idubbbz used to be the exposer, but now he bound to be exposed. Once a master of his domain, but Anisa came along, turned his life upside down, controlling every move. She's being toxic, she's got him on a tight rein. No more of content cop episodes. What? No more Kickstarter crap. Well thought, no slurs dare escape his brain.
I'm sorry to everyone.
Anisa got an OnlyFans. She's showing skin for cash, but she'd rather have her patrons. Not the heart. Viewers down, subs down, time to close up shop. So we started a podcast to humiliate poor Ian. Their viewers withering away like his precious hairline. Cupcakes, well locked away. No subs, no views locked away. The cupcake, throw away the cake. Humiliated and frustrated. He's automatic, feels like you're suffocating. No end in sight, a man with no hope, just a simp like your OnlyFans. Simple your OnlyFans.
Ian keeps me on a leash. I need to be on a leash because I am unhinged.
Welcome back to Idiot Influencers. Today we'll be exploring the past and present of Anisa Jomha, the wife of Idubbbz who keeps getting herself into controversy after controversy. For the past few years, she's been devolving into a lol cow, with only a few fans lingering around. I think it's time I do a massive video on her, detailing her tumultuous online career, going from a simp wrangling streamer, to an edgy debater, an adult content creator, and finally becoming the laughingstock of the wider commentary community. This is Anisa and her history of hypocrisies and scandals. Anisa's online career began around 2014 to 2015, with her being inspired to do live streams by Caseytron.
Like, I got lucky as shit. I was like working 2 jobs. Like I was poor, like poor. Like I was eating oatmeal for every meal. And then my one friend, literally, I'm not even kidding. Like, this is not a joke, Casey. You're the reason why I started streaming, because I had a friend that was like,
You've told me this.
Girl, yeah, she made $200. I was like, $200. I was like, I could buy like more groceries. And so I went into debt. I like got a computer, which like not smart at all to do. Got a computer and I started streaming, and I got really lucky.
Caseytron herself has been doing live streaming since 2012, doing what many would describe as booby streaming, where she would pretend to be a ditzy gamer girl in order to pull a young male audience. They tended to wear low-cut shirts and other slightly revealing outfits, hence the name. Anisa was definitely one of these streamers, going by the name Rainbow Kids. She'd stream herself playing League of Legends, eventually reaching 200,000 followers on Twitch by mid-2016. Her type of content did attract loads of trolls though, so she enlisted the help of various moderators. One of these moderators happened to be Anisa's own mother, which has been confirmed by Maureen herself. Kotaku would post an article about this in July of 2016 called "The Mom Who Moderates Her Daughter's Rowdy Twitch Chat," where Anisa's mom is mentioned by name as being her daughter's biggest moderator. The article mentions these fans quite heavily, saying, many of whom originally subscribed for something other than her gameplay. No boobo showing, no me watching. Cam whore, where are your nipples? In fact, a counter on Rainbow Kid's channel estimates that her breasts have been mentioned in Twitch chat nearly 30,000 times. Until recently, Rainbow Kids wore a double push-up bra, highlighting her cleavage for her audience. Viewers would pay real money to have their commentary of her read out loud, much of which was deliberately offensive. Anisa's mom is quoted as saying, "She was what you'd call a booby streamer, where you'd attract viewers to your stream, trolls, who come to harass or hit on female streamers." This article also describes the pair's past conflict, as Anisa had a habit of skipping school and sneaking out. What's most shocking is that Anisa didn't know this person was her mom at first, but liked her presence in chat and promoted her. It's just so bizarre, man. I mean, imagine having your mom having to defend you from internet trolls while being a titty streamer. And the thing is, Maureen is still defending Anisa online, she just does it under random names. I'll be showing this throughout the video, but she's been seen replying to Anisa and arguing with many of her critics. Here she defends Anisa by stating, "Anisa has never shamed booby streamers. She started out as one, by the way." Here's some more tweets that she made in 2020 following the OF drama. What's really disgusting is how terribly researched this video is. All based on strawman arguments, clips taken out of context, 3 to 4 year old content cherry-picked from female Ian stan hate websites and an obsessed female streamer. The creator of this video responded by highlighting various Anisa hypocrisies, to which Marine claps back with, again, not true, you need to find another witch to burn, you might get sued for defamation and slander. This here is Anisa's response to Leafy being banned, which her mom backed her up on. Remember this Pied Piper account, again it'll be important later. Kiwi Farm users were able to piece together that these accounts do belong to Marine, as they replied to Anisa and her haters a ridiculous amount of times. And I mean, it's 100% factual that her mom would do stuff like this, based on that Kotaku article. Now a comment thread about this video is about how secretly insecure Anisa is about the content she makes. At the slightest bit of criticism, not even targeted at her specifically, she can't handle it. In late 2017, YouTuber Pyrocynical released a video titled, Worst Twitch Girls, where he makes fun of bland content made by booby streamers. Anisa was never mentioned in that video, but the fact that she herself was considered one made her self-conscious. This is her reaction to it.
Did you see Pyrocynical's video about Twitch girls lol?
No, I don't give a shit about Pyro's fucking ass, dude. Like, Pyro can suck on my fucking nut. Why do you want me to see that so bad? I don't watch any of his stuff.
Demonstrating how to respect women.
Excuse me, sir. Do you respect women?
Alright, fucking cancer.
I mean, you can just see with this clip, look how small the screen is for the game. Jesus. And I know that mentality that's been presented before, don't like it, don't watch it. The problem is, you're bringing a lot of kids onto the side.
Why do people always make that argument? Like, there's no way when she's playing the actual game that it's that size. Like, what the hell is that? What is that? Everybody always makes that point, like it's fact, that like, if the screen is small in the section that they show in the video, that like, that's how the game screen is the whole time.
Just her yapping about one small point Pyro made, since she doesn't have any valid arguments against his other points. Something I've noticed about Anisa is her propensity to rewrite the past whenever it's convenient for her. During her Edgelord phase, she tried spinning the notion that her doing booby streaming was one elaborate troll effort. She once tweeted, I used to do cleavage streams to troll bait and create an interesting dichotomy between viewer and streamer. Now I can't compete. I remember a simpler time when a bit of boob was enough to troll bait. Now you have to be naked. Darwinism of the female streamer in action. Well, she was right about one thing. Just love how she's taken the moral high ground here about never stooping that low. And then only a few years later, she began taking lewd photos on OF. There was also a tweet made around early 2017, during the Tana drama, where she said Tana's outfit was more revealing than the stuff she wore during her booby streaming days. This is hilarious because even back then, she was posing in photos of her underwear out. She's not fooling anyone here. This wasn't her trolling people like what Casey Tron was doing. She was an unironic titty streamer, who rebranded after the genre became too oversaturated, and she couldn't compete. Many don't know this, but before Anisa began dating Idubbbz, she was with someone known as Acadian. Now I bring this guy up because their relationship seemed to have ended poorly, and Anisa seemingly cheated on him. Acadian was a fellow League of Legends streamer who's been involved in many tournaments, which I found a few archives of. He's pretty much inactive at this point, but was at his prime around 2016. I'm not sure when the two started dating, but it was probably around September 2015. I keep hearing rumors that he was 17 years old at the time, but I haven't found proof of this. Liquipedia says he was 18 at the time, but either way, Anisa was 24 years old. Anyways, Anisa began talking to a YouTuber named Idubbbz around mid-2016, which Acadian apparently knew about. He probably thought the relationship was sound and nothing would go wrong. I mean, Anisa even drew art of them as a couple, which she traced over. Classy. They went to TwitchCon that year, where Anisa booked their hotel for an extra day by accident. She herself said this in a Q&A video she uploaded to her YouTube channel in January 2017.
How did you and Ian meet? I was in San Diego for TwitchCon, and I, being an idiot, accidentally booked a extra night and an extra day in San Diego. So TwitchCon was over, everybody was gone, and I was stuck in the hotel alone with nothing to do.
She describes meeting up with Ian, who lived in San Diego, and going out to lunch with him. She describes an awkward interaction with him in their car, insinuating she had a crush on him.
As soon as I left the Jeep, I was thinking to myself, this human is never interacting with me again. I fucked it, like this is over. And and I guess he was thinking the same thing. He thought that I didn't like him and he fucked it up. So when he got home, I guess he was fighting with himself whether to text me or not because he thought that it was like completely done. But he decided to message me anyways and he said, hey, I made it home safe. And the amount of relief that I was like, holy shit, this human is still talking to me. It was unbelievable. We didn't stop talking. That whole night we talked until we fell asleep, and then ever since then we've just been pretty much inseparable.
She was still publicly dating Acadian, by the way. They wouldn't break up until a few weeks later, where Acadian slightly alluded to it on Twitter with this tweet. Rolling on the floor laughing, what the fuck, I actually hate girls. Probably won't be streaming / active for a while until I get back to a good place mentally. Sorry guys. On November 4th, he'd vague post about it on stream.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I mean, I would say like right now, in terms of like mentally, I'm not like in the best state. I can't really explain, but I'm just like, I don't know, dude. Like, I don't know if any of you guys can like resonate with me or like feel me on this, but I'm just fucking pissed off all the time. Like, I'm just angry, like every day. As soon as I wake up, like I'm just fucking angry, and I don't know how to stop being like. The only thing I can do is just distract myself with like League of Legends or doing shit like. I don't know, man. I'm just fucking mad.
Apparently in the same stream, which is lost, he flat out said that he blocked Anisa. A fan mentioned this to her on Twitter a few days later. And if you still don't believe me that she cheated on him, Anisa's anniversary with Ian always falls around late September to early October, the exact time TwitchCon happened in 2016. Now, I myself became aware of Anisa around 2018. Ian never really mentioned her much online, though the relationship was still known. Ian had a habit of pranking her while streaming, which, to be honest, are probably the only times they were entertaining.
Play Nickelback non-stop for hours on end. I will want to die, I guarantee you.
You talking shit about Nickelback, bitch!
Stop.
You talking shit about Nickelback!
Oh my god, you're making my hands tingle.
Anisa was also instrumental in the creation of the Tana Mojo content cop, where she came up with the idea and filmed this infamous moment.
Say Nick.
Before the content cop episode was released, she talked on Discord of her closest fans about it. Here, she admits that it was her idea, and that Ian doesn't even hate Tana. This seems true, as Anisa seems to be the one who hates Tana. In fact, she even tries slut-shaming her by saying she was only wearing a bra, which is rich coming from Anisa. Anisa had quite a bit of these Discord messages leaked, which shows her very parasocial relationships of her fans. She has a horrible habit of admitting really shameless stuff about herself, or embarrassing things about Ian. For instance, here's her admitting she wants to mooch off Ian's money. Here's more, where she talks about how disapproving her mother is about the guy she dates. She alludes to a past boyfriend her mom liked that was jacked and rich, but Anisa wasn't that into him because he was cheap. Here she tells her fans that Ian peed on her while they were in the shower together. In another set of messages, she tells her fans about how gross Ian is, and wishes he would clean more often. The reason why he didn't is because he would do gross shit on purpose for his videos. And worst of all, the messages where she threatens to break up with Ian. Why would she consider this? Well, because he was too focused on his YouTube career. Yeah, as soon as the content cop thing was coming close, he just switched gears, and it wasn't even like I existed. I think I'm breaking up with Ian. After our first relationship scare on our last trip, I was a lot better and Ian seemed happier. But after I left, it seemed like Ian's opinion on things didn't change much. He hadn't called me in 4 days and we had barely talked. She then talks about how Ian's afraid of commitment and how hard this long distance relationship has been. He's at PewDiePie's house. He said, I will call you with my answer when I get back, so about 2-3 hours. But I think I'm right to finally putting my foot down. What she's referring to is when Ian flew to the UK to work on the Rice Gum diss track with Felix and Boy in a band. Anisa is seemingly just freaking out over nothing, as I'm sure Ian was just busy and there was a time zone difference. She speculates the issue is Ian's YouTube ego, yet also admits that he's desperate and won't find someone else like her. Her chatters are giving her relationship advice throughout, and Anisa mentions talking with Ian's sister. I just find it so bizarre that she has to admit all this private shit to shrinks on Discord. Could she not just do this with her mom or a close friend? I also find it so strange that instead of having an honest conversation with Ian, she immediately shit talks him to strangers. I think now is a good time to bring up another important character in her story, Chris Raygun. Chris was mainly popular around 2016 during the anti-SJW era, making edgy content in a similar vein to Ian. Him and Anisa have long been friends, with Chris appearing on her streams to chat. I'm not sure when this started, but many of the clips I found seem to be around 2017. Many of these interactions are awkward, as Anisa would ask Chris bizarre and sexual questions.
What's the weirdest thing you've ever done in the bed? I've had sex in an elevator before. Have you had sex in an elevator before?
Not in an elevator. No. I don't. Well, that's not in bed then, is it?
I mean, that's still like.
I don't know.
Asking, like, you know. from some.
I mean, yeah, I don't really know. I don't know if I could really.
Do you not have anything? Chris is lame.
No,
Wait, you've had sex in a dressing room before, haven't you?
Yeah, that's not weird, is it?
I've never done that.
I wouldn't just qualify it as weird though. It's like
I shoved a dildo in my ex-boyfriend's ass once.
Oh my god.
Their interactions are always awkward. It's like two 5th graders trying to flirt. It's even weirder whenever Chris's girlfriend at the time, Lacey Green, is mentioned. Anisa just gets in, usually spiteful, but hides it with jokes.
Are you still going to New York? Are you still going to New York for that concert?
Yes.
Are you sure you haven't canceled it? Are you sure you haven't canceled it? Because you found the love of your life? You found the Pocahontas to your John Smith? You want to understand her land and her ways.
What are you fucking saying?
You want to understand her land and her ways. Like, she's your Pocahontas. So you come from two different worlds. What if Lacey this whole time has teeth in her vagina and she's waiting for the right time to, like...
Well, I mean, I feel like I would know if there were teeth, you know?
But what if they're like cat's claws where they come out?
They retract?
Yeah, they retract. Oh yeah. Do you eat Lacey's ass?
What the fuck? We're not having this fucking conversation.
Wait, look it. I asked my chat yesterday, I said, do you think Chris eats Lacey's ass? And everybody was like, yes. There was like no hesitation. It was like 100% yes.
Jesus Christ.
Do you eat Lacey's ass?
No.
Are you sure?
Am I sure?
Because you seem pretty okay shoveling those fries in your face while I asked that question. She would make a good porn star. Lacey would make a good porn star.
Thanks.
Weirdest of all is when Anisa calls Lacey a cunt.
And I was like, you cunt, you know who I am, piece of shit.
2 podcasts in a row, that's terrible.
Well, I mean, it's been a fucking month.
No, but it'd still be in a row.
Fine, we'll get your fucking cunted girlfriend on here.
Now I love flinging the old C word around, but you probably shouldn't be saying that about your friend's significant other. Chris doesn't seem to like it, but he's probably too nice to say anything about it. Now there's a theory that's been going around for years now that Anisa wants to get with Chris and would cheat on Ian to do so, pretty much doing what she did to Acadian. In those Discord messages, she says she doesn't think Ian would publicly defend her, but Chris would. She also visited Chris in New York without Ian, and they made a big vlog out of it. Many of the more recent comments made cheating jokes, while others pointed out how uncomfortable Chris seems during parts of the video.
Yeah. You look good. You look great. So now we're heading back to John's, showering, and then going to Chris's, and then we're going to stream tonight.
Yeah.
That was the gayest high five I've ever fucking seen. I was like, Tarzan, what are you doing?
That was a little bit of Tarzan. I didn't want to clap because I didn't want to miss it, like hit the food.
In another stream of Chris, Anisa mentions that her mom wants the two of them to get together.
Yeah, my mom tried to get me to my mom was like, Chris, you should talk to Chris. Like a year and a half ago when you started talking to me, or like
you should talk to Chris.
She was like, you should talk to Chris. I was like, Mom, you know nothing of Chris other than he likes to play racial chess. But apparently that was enough.
Speaking of Anisa's mom, here's 2 old tweets from her, where she seemed bothered by Chris's relationship with Lacey. Anisa herself has made a few tweets being a bit flirty of Chris. Mind you, she was publicly dating Ian by this point. I don't think they were fucking or anything, but she definitely has a thing for him. And I say that in present tense for a reason I'll get to later. What seems to be happening here is that Anisa is really into nerds, something she said publicly, but thought Ian was too focused on YouTube. She probably had a better connection with Chris, but didn't like the fact that he was with Lacey. Another theory I have relates to her changing her personality and hobbies to match who she was dating. She got into sports due to an older relationship, got into streaming and playing League thanks to Acadian, and got into making edgy content due to Ian, though unlike Ian, she was never successful at it. By 2018, Anisa was still regularly streaming, though she'd focused more on reacting to other people's content and discussing it. Because she was expressing her opinions more, she was opening herself up to loads of new scrutiny, which led to a few small controversies which are mostly forgotten. She tried coming across as edgy and provocative, which didn't work as she seemed to contradict herself a lot. Here's a clip from a video she made in early 2017.
I'm surprised that car can hold up on that. The crash test rating on that car must be amazing. It's nice to know that the car can handle that kind of weight. without denting. To our knowledge, it might have dented actually, who knows. I mean, I guess this is good because she's getting her fitness in, so.
And then here's a stream clip from that same year.
Sarah Silverman's got to be the most unlikable. I'm surprised that she gets less hate than that whale, the leather
Amy
wearing,
Schumer?
yeah, Amy Schumer. Because at least Amy Schumer like doesn't open her mouth very often, at least to my knowledge.
Now, most people wouldn't have a problem with these jokes. I myself love making jokes about Ethan is Online's weight. My issue here is that only months later, Anisa would release a video titled, "What's Wrong with Fat People at the Gym?" where she tries to take the moral high ground. She tells a story about overhearing two women making fun of an overweight gym goer, and says this halfway through.
Any bit of disgusting that they thought this woman was, if they would just look in the mirror or hear what they were saying, like, that is a million times more disgusting than any fucking abomination I can even dream up. And I'm just sitting there flabbergasted at the idea that there's these two women actually ridiculing somebody who has the balls to get up and go to the gym and deal with the shitty people like them and still come back and better themselves.
It's a decent message, but the person delivering that message has no place to talk. And this isn't the only bit of hypocrisy. There's also her statements regarding YouTuber Venus Angelic.
I couldn't drink or eat anything, so I still tried to eat or drink, but I puked out anything I ate. Not because I wanted to, but because I couldn't keep it in my stomach. I puked about 10 to 15 times a day for about an entire month, so...
What the fuck? You'd be dead! You would be dead! If you puked 10 times a day for a month, you would be dead! You wouldn't be alive, that's a lie! There's no way you could put that in. That's for a month? That's not real. There's no way. You'd literally be dead.
For a bit of context, Venus was a YouTuber who faced abuse from her mother and suffered from an eating disorder. Anisa struggles to understand what she's been going through and makes other bizarre statements.
Where is her mother?
I don't know. She said she ran away from home. She's married, but she's young, so she calls herself boyfriend. What? Let me listen to this again.
I don't call it your boyfriend, husband.
Boyfriend and husband? Are you a boy?
Anisa herself briefly alludes to having an eating disorder, which she made a video about less than a year prior. She claims she's been struggling with anorexia and body dysmorphia disorder for much of her life, discussing how she could barely function at times. This is weird, because apparently much of her stories take place in college where she would have been heavily involved in sports and considering police training. A week later, she posts another video about her OCD diagnosis, which some were suspicious of. She implies she was fully diagnosed by a school therapist, which isn't usually allowed unless they were highly trained. When asked about this in a now deleted comment thread, she struggles coming up with a good explanation. Kinda weird for her to laugh at and question someone else's eating disorder, yet lash out to those doing the same to her. If she wants to make jokes about other people like that, go ahead, but don't act like you're some inspirational person spreading positivity to your fans. Also, I don't think someone with BDD would be posting so many revealing photos of themselves online. In a stream in late 2018, Anisa started talking about controversial cosplayer Momkun. Basically, this individual was accused of sexually harassing other cosplayers at conventions, and then blamed it on ADHD. Anisa tries not to defend Momo, but it comes across as her doing so since she downplays it.
With it happening, like, she just received so much fucking hate. And, yeah, I just think that as a content creator, a couple of commentary YouTubers decide to hate you and you're pretty much fucked.
Weird take, but okay. I'm willing to hear her out. However, her next example of a flawed person being unnecessarily hated by the commentary community is Lionmaker of all people.
No matter like how serious it is, right? Like even when Lionmaker, whatever his name was accused of pedophilia, like it gave me a lot of anxiety because I feel like a lot of it is based on a lot of fiction and not a lot of fact. And like if the person really isn't as bad as what people think it is, which most of the time they're not, then you're just watching people rip apart somebody that maybe doesn't deserve it as much as, like, I don't know, it's just sad seeing somebody get ripped apart.
Probably the worst example you could bring up. Now if you don't remember who Lionmaker is, he's a former YouTuber known for making Minecraft Let's Plays. Around 2015, he got accused of grooming multiple different minors, which there was a decent bit of evidence for. However, the real kicker was that in December 2015, Lionmaker would basically admit to trading inappropriate material with a minor and posted an image of her naked to his Twitter. In his interview of Colossal's Crazy a year later, he confirmed that this did happen, but says he doesn't know how it happened, which is bullshit.
It's not do you deny that a picture of this girl, Paige the Pandas, what should we call it? What do we call this? A rectum was posted on your Twitter account. Let's just state it out how it is. That is a fact.
No, I do not deny that. I do not deny that.
Who posted this picture?
That is something that I cannot say. I do not know. It's impossible for me to start pointing fingers at someone and saying...
Speculate.
No, I can't.
Now back to Anisa.
Well, Lionmaker went to jail for
Yeah.
pedophilia. I urge everyone to check out Colossal is Crazy's interview with Lionmaker. It's surreal.
Yeah, I mean, and he went to jail, and he deserved to go to jail, like, which is whatever. But I mean, I'm just trying to use the example of like when it was before he got prosecuted and whatever. People ripping him apart, like we didn't know, like actually know, right? That's what I'm trying to say. And until we did know, and he did go to jail, it's a bit scary to rip somebody apart, you know, without really knowing.
Again, Lionmaker is a bad example of this, and she should know that if she actually knew the full situation. She's probably just pretending to sound intelligent or some shit, I don't know. She also uses Leafy as here as an example, which is funny since her boyfriend was one of his biggest critics.
Yeah, Leafy was one of them that was hard to watch getting ripped apart.
Next, let's briefly discuss the Sky Williams drama, which occurred around the same time as the Tana content cop. Sky and Anisa were very publicly friends, and Sky would even defend Anisa on Twitter. However, Anisa would eventually start shit-talking him on stream for no reason at all. Sky would then DM Idubbbz about this to figure things out, but got ignored. Anisa then said this on stream 2 hours later.
But I give a shit that Sky is such a fucking manipulative piece of shit that he just blows wherever the wind blows, so that's cool. It's really hypocrite. I hate hypocrites, man.
So, he released a now unlisted video about the situation.
I'm not sure if his girlfriend had anything to do with it. Hey, look, hands are clean of it. Used to be friends with her. I found out someone showed me like hella stream highlights of her talking the meanest shit to me, and I didn't know because I'm on Twitter defending her, right? Saw that shit. Then I cried to her in DMs. And no, I was drunk and I literally cried. I'm sobbing to her. And she's like, oh, well, I just thought she was a tool, but now, mwah. And then she talking shit. 2 weeks later, nigga. Then I said, nah, I ain't gonna cry in your DMs again, bitch.
Now this Sky Williams guy seems to overly sensitive, but Anisa allegedly described him as a valuable piece of shit in a now deleted stream, so... And for the icing on top, here's another clip from that Lionmaker stream.
This is really bad. Yikes takes. Why is it bad? It's bad that I'm trying to be a reasonable human being and I think we like hate people way too aggressively online that don't really deserve it. I just think like people want to hate on people and demonize them for things that aren't even real.
By this point in her career, Anisa seemed to disregard others around her and would say whatever the fuck she wanted to get attention. My theory is that she didn't care about saying stupid shit because she had the reputation of her boyfriend backing her up. I mean, who dare would make an exposed video on the girlfriend of Mr. Content Cop? This brings up the craziest thing she's ever said during this era, the Holocaust statements.
Is experimenting on 10 children to obtain a cure for thousands of kids' lives justified? That's a really hard question, and I think if people are being 100% honest, they'd give you a different answer than what you're expecting. As terrible as the Holocaust was, obviously it was horrendous, and how disgusting the doctor was that did the experiments on people. It was gay people, handicaps, twins. I think that's and obviously they were obviously Jewish. Or they did it on Jewish people. They found a couple of really groundbreaking discoveries through that experimentation.
This is just factually untrue. The experiments conducted by Nazi scientists were not done for scientific discoveries. They were a way to torture people. I mean, the notes taken were literally just gibberish. Nothing of importance was discovered. This clip in general is such a bad look for her, and will get mentioned quite a bit over the next several years. So much so that Anisa had to address it in a recent podcast episode.
People would come in and try to bait me into like having these fucking stupid answers. I really regret this one, but like somebody asked like like something about the Holocaust and like whether or not there was like good that came out of it or whatever. And I prefaced it very heavily. I was like, the things that happened during the Holocaust were horrific. The experiments that happened were horrific. And then this was like the big mistake was like, but there were things that came out of it that like, which I've found out now is complete propaganda. Nothing good came out of those experiments. They didn't actually find anything. And I was trying to like have this like ethical, and I was like, some people would say that. I said some
That's
people
true, you did. I
would
do remember
say
that.
because I don't agree with it.
Right.
I was just trying to play the ethical.
You're playing that game.
Yeah,
which,
of like,
yeah,
this
a lot
is
of
a conversation that some people have had, and I've heard this exact conversation in my university setting. So I was like, oh, I'll just present this because I've heard it said before, and it sounds smart. And that clip, like, it has been shared I've been told that I'm like a Nazi sympathizer, that I like deny the Holocaust. I've had people like, and that is like by far the most painful, like that, I heavily regret that.
Yeah. I feel like what she's saying is a half-truth, which makes me doubt her, honestly. Unless this clip was taken out of context, which I don't think it is, why can't she just take full responsibility for it? She just made excuses like, oh, I learned this in a university setting, and my chat baited me into saying it. You're a grown adult, you can ignore questions and just move on. And if you're going to go on a high horse and call out people who overuse the word Nazi, why don't you tell your friend Denims to not do so on your behalf? Here, she's referencing Froggy Fresh.
And he's just started posting, like, let me see if I can find it. He was just posting Nazi shit. Okay? I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how else to explain it other than he was posting Nazi shit.
What's happening here is that Anisa is trying super hard to be like her boyfriend, but is failing miserably. Idubbbz at the time was actually able to put together cohesive arguments relating to edgy topics, and also didn't try to come across as some sort of intellectual. He didn't take himself seriously and was, actually funny. Anisa is legitimately trying to sound smart, and comes off as a dumbass because she has never been self-aware. This is especially evident in her debate with Vegan Gains in November 2018. If you don't know who Vegan Gains is, he's a crazed vegan activist known for saying some pretty outlandish stuff.
And when I see babies in a stroller, especially when they're crying, I just want to put my foot through the fucking thing and step on it until it's nothing but blood and pulp on the fucking pavement!
Honestly, debating this guy could have been a slam dunk for Anisa, but I'm sure you can already predict how well she did here. She basically spends the entire debate prefixing her arguments with, I feel like, not actually going off legit facts she can use against Richard.
I feel like Now,
even though I don't agree with a lot of veganism, I still have to admit that Richard does an incredible job here. He actually brought up sources and can properly debate Anisa, while she fumbles around and says loads of nonsense. At one point, she says she doesn't think society caters to vegan diets, which is hilarious since this bitch frequents California, one of the most vegan states in America.
And that simple fact, which is a fact, and if you want to find studies for that fact, go ahead, but like, our society does not cater towards a vegan diet, therefore it's less convenient than a non-vegan diet.
You're arguing against yourself here. So first you claimed that, well, a lot of the reason why vegan populations are healthier than meat eaters is because they're not eating processed garbage, they're not drinking, not smoking, and then you're actually advocating for a lifestyle where you go out and eat junk food and fast food.
She clearly didn't prepare for this and takes all of her anger out on Richard, saying he's the aggressive one here.
Okay, well, look, when you're complaining that I'm pointing out logical fallacies that you're making, that sounds to me like you're uncomfortable with me actually making arguments.
We're good. I'm so at that point. If this is your view of winning, which is talking very aggressively for a period of time, very confident, you've won, man. Like,
I've made arguments. Well, no, I've made arguments and presented evidence. You haven't. So yes, I have won on that basis alone.
Well, then there you go.
Okay, so you agree that you don't have any evidence for your claims and your arguments are completely logically inconsistent? Look, if you don't agree on that, I want to continue this conversation. I don't want to misrepresent your views. I actually am interested in having an honest conversation about this.
Yeah, I'm done.
Remember, this is the same chick who tried arguing about the semantics of certain slurs, and thought ISIS isn't real because her Muslim father is too nice a person. By this time, many began noticing Anisa's antics, with the group known as Pear Fax archiving her worst moments. This would lead to YouTuber Brittany Venti releasing an exposed video on her, which currently has almost 700,000 views. In that video, she shows a clip that pretty much sums up Anisa's thought process.
I've been scrolling through my own Twitter feed, and I'll read something and I'll be like, fuck, I need to unfollow this guy. And then I'll go to his page and then it says 400k followers, and then it says Sky follows you, and my inner piece of shit goes, this is an important human being. I shouldn't unfollow him. I should just put up with it, or at least mute him.
Now, most people began hearing about Anisa in early 2020 due to an infamous tweet. I'm very excited to announce my Loot OnlyFans launch. Check me out in the link below. I'm very excited to provide cute cosplay photosets and more. Many in Idubbbz fanbase began making jokes and memes. Many began referring to Idubbbz as a simp, since most guys wouldn't be fond of their girlfriend showing their assholes to the entire internet. He actually handled the situation pretty well at first, tweeting, "I'm done, fuckers, I'm done. No more Mr. Nice Simp." Most people would have moved on from this, but then Ian shot himself in the foot and released the video, Sex Workers, Idubbbz Complains. It starts out with Ian saying he's fine with the memes, but has a problem with the more critical fans of his. One of these fans is a 15-year-old who made a parody tweet, which Ian seems to take as real. He then criticizes the YouTuber Otozi for thinking OnlyFans will greatly affect someone's career, which is true.
And then future jobs, they might be a little bit harder to come by.
I think this is one of the most important opinions to highlight because it really demonstrates a severe lack of real-world experience when you're saying that future jobs are going to be harder to come by because of an OnlyFans account. Like, if you think this affects your standing or your social credibility in getting jobs, you are so sadly mistaken.
This is just dumb. If you morally disagree with that, then okay. But he's pretending as if that stigma doesn't exist in the first place. Though, to be fair to Ian, he does have some decent points in this video. His main one is the dismantlement of the hypocrisy allegations.
It's because he's a hypocrite. He makes content cop and targets people, but he himself have girlfriend whoring herself, and he does nothing about it. You think these fucking retards would actually do a smidgen of research? Because, like, I did it, and I found the potential hypocrisies in what I say in the past, and it's pretty fucking consistent. The funding for the slut shirt is actually very, very low. Skanktown, USA, softcore porn all over the walls. Pretty nice, huh? You know, like, I'm not saying that women should be sexualized or shouldn't be. I'm just saying that there is the market for it, so it makes sense that they would do it. I would say skank and slut, but never was that part of my argument. It's just flavor. It's just flavor. Like, in the future, I'll probably say slut and skank again.
The only other hypocrisy people could name at the time was the Idubbbz green screen video, which is also pretty weak. None of these videos signify any sort of past hatred or criticism of sex work. However, there is an instance of this that Ian has never addressed. Enter Zoe Berger. Zoe was a prominent Twitch streamer back around 2016, who got big for basically being one of the first popular e-girls. She's basically the mid-2010s equivalent of Amaranth or Strawberry Tabby. She orchestrated fake beef with Keemstar, leading to an appearance on the Baited podcast.
Just like what works for me is shaking my ass and making
Yeah, but the
self-deprecating
problem-
jokes and dealing
Yeah,
with
but the
people who call
problem-
me a pedo. So how are you gonna come at me like that?
Let me say one thing. Let me say
For
one thing. Though,
trivializing
clown, listen,
paedophile
listen.
allegations. Yeah, I think that's fair.
Okay, do you want to spank me for it, Daddy?
Now you're trying to.
Basically, around 2016, Anisa and Zoe were friends, and the latter invited Anisa to take part in a scarce video. In this video, Zoe and her friends would be twerking on him in lingerie, which Anisa was apparently down for. However, she decided to not do it, and then referred to Zoe and her friends as the Ho Squad.
I never wanted to join Zoe's Ho Squad.
In response, Zoe made the following video.
I thought I was done, but apparently 2 tweets wasn't enough for this girl. You were supposed to come and hang out with me in Celestia after you begged Celestia. I have the Skype screenshots. You begged her to come hang out with me. I didn't know her or you, but she pulled you a favor so that you could come hang out with us. I said yes because why not? The more the merrier. You back out because Idubbbz tells you it's a bad idea to associate with me. Then you proceed to go on for the next couple of weeks and tweet about me every now and then, talking crap. I don't know if you're trying to provoke me or if you just honestly believe all the things you're saying, because if you tried to provoke me, you did it. Congratulations, it worked. I'm fucking making a video Keemstar style at your ass. However, you listened to Idubbbz advice over the bond of
friendship that you had with Celestia and eventually regretted that because just a week later you posted a parody video of the Scarce video you were supposed to be in if you had not been a flake. Now, you know, there's no problems there, but then you start coming at me about how I don't change my bras or something, like that's even relevant. Why don't we talk about something that's completely irrelevant to you? How about we talk about why your boyfriend won't promote anything about you? Is he trying to keep your ass a secret? Why is he one of the biggest fucking YouTubers and he can't help your ass out? I think you picked the wrong side. You should have come and hung out and facilitated making friends, but instead you decided to be a snake, hop on his fucking dick for more whatever you think perceived celebrity, and failed.
These are the Skype messages Zoe was talking about, and Anisa definitely seemed down for it. Now I couldn't find the parody video Anisa made, but she did end up releasing a video on her YouTube channel about Zoe. This was released 2 weeks after the drama, where she criticizes her for wanting to create a female esports team. Now some of the criticism is pretty valid, but she definitely only made this as a fuck you to Zoe.
She can say whatever the hell she wants about creating equal opportunity or getting back at the male population for suppressing and oppressing women. That's bullshit and we all know it. The reason why she doesn't want a girl who's 200 pounds on her team is because she wants to market the shit out of these girls. She wants to beat these horses until they're dead. She could care less what the ramifications are in the esports community for women. And that's a problem. We do not want this being the face of esports for women. We don't. It is disgust. It is nasty. You are nasty. This whole thing is nasty.
The top comment reads, "The fame that she is creating isn't about girl power or promoting legitimately strong girl gamers. It's about using sexuality to draw attention. In and of itself, that isn't a problem. But when that's the only asset to fame, then it hurts the industry. And it hurts women, who work very hard to compete in a world that already stigmatizes them as boobs of a controller. Soak in that irony, boys. It's palpable tonight." Anisa has always given Zoe loads of shit for showing her body, which is funny because Anisa showed just as much of her body at the time and shows way more of it now. Remember earlier when I said that Anisa was secretly insecure while being a booby streamer? Well, that insecurity has increased tenfold ever since she started her OF, and she's basically transferred some of that to Ian. In that sex workers video, Ian blatantly said that he's fine of people making edgy jokes about him being a simp, and Anisa taking lewd photos.
A good amount of people are just doing the reasonable thing and just making jokes and laughing about it.
But Ian and Anisa clearly don't think that anymore, as they now see these sorts of jokes as downright misogynistic. In Ian's Froggy Fresh video, he heavily criticized Tyler for making such jokes, where he compares OF girls to being escorts.
And he was gonna win. Like, I don't know if they're giving. I think they give away like OnlyFans girls there at these events. I don't know what kind of sponsorships. Like, if you win certain fights, I think you get to own some of these girls for some of the nights.
Awesome.
I don't know how it works, but I think Chris was like he had plans to go beat up a nerd and however they get to like lease one of these girls, and so like. He got there. Well, Ian was probably thinking because I think, man, I need to just stop all this probably.
No, Froggy, keep going. I think you should keep going. I think the women of the world need to hear your opinions on these things. Talk more about how sex workers are property. That's a funny joke. It was super funny the third time that you referred to women as property. That was the funniest one. Because when you said lease, I was like, yeah, I know what a lease is. Even if you didn't do any of the Sam Hyde stuff, why would we want you at our event? Like, if you're just gonna blatantly disrespect sex workers and women and other fighters, saying that they're here to touch e-thoughts, like, it is so disrespectful and shitty. I don't want to share the space with you. I don't want other people to be uncomfortable because you're there. Like, you don't get the vibe, all right? The vibe is sex workers and fighting, I guess.
I like how he has to lump sex workers and women in the same sentence to make him appear as some sort of sexist freak, when in reality, he was joking about how many OF creators are at Creator Clash. And Froggy only made this joke after he got kicked, with the joke he made before being kicked being pretty lighthearted.
On April 15th, if I don't hurt you beyond what anybody could have imagined, I will be so disappointed in myself that I will subscribe to Anisa's OnlyFans.
If you want to criticize Froggy for being unfunny, then do it. But don't label him a misogynist just because you're offended by it. I mean, who in their right mind would think that Froggy, a married guy with kids, hates women? But that's the only insult these e-girls know. To call their opponents incels or whatever, not realizing that those are usually their main demographic. On her podcast of Caseytron and Denims, Anisa began talking about what she thinks is the worst type of audience to have.
I think, like, honestly, like, young male audiences are the fucking worst audiences on the planet, by far. And I think that it's an easy way to get a bag really quickly, but I think everybody grows to regret it that, like, specs into that audience.
I don't know if she's just purposely being retarded, but she just described her own audience. Young men are the only ones paying $10 a month to look at her holes. I mean, let's be real. The only person outside of that demographic who masturbates to her OF is Denims.
Oh, this picture is really good. It is not easy to pull off, like, white hair. And I think she does a really good job. I think she pulls it off really well.
Similar to Caseytron, Anisa also has a habit of blandly referring to her haters as incels, even trying to lure them out. All this does is lures out the guys with actual self-respect, and keeps in the loser simps with infatuations for her. She uses this as a quick and easy way to dismiss her critics, instead of actually engaging with their arguments. You'll rarely ever see her do that, as she sucks at debates worse than Noah Samson. So what does her family think about this? Well, her mother is obviously fine with it, as seen in those tweets I showed earlier. Her father, meanwhile, has been dealing with Alzheimer's for the past few years.
Yeah, Jordan Peterson went to university with my dad. They're
did
both
he?
psychology majors at the U of A at the same time.
What does your dad think about him?
I mean, I don't know. My dad's got Alzheimer's out the ass, so I could ask him, but he'd probably just...
It'd be a funny answer.
It'd be a funny answer, probably.
Yeah.
He's Muslim, and probably wouldn't be too fond of his daughter doing adult content, though that's just speculation. Anisa likes using his faith and ethnicity whenever relevant, bringing it up during her livestream with Ian and Hassan Piker.
I feel like also, like, there was just a lot of things that Ian had never experienced or understood. Like, he had never met a Muslim before, and then he ended up marrying one. But, like, that was something that really changed. I feel like, alhamdulillah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Yeah, mashallah, mashallah.
I taught him the Fatiha. But there's a video of him chopping a Quran in half. And when my dad was still mentally sane, I was terrified that he was going to find that video of Ian. He's like,
God, I did not know that.
Yeah, he chops a Quran in half with a cleaver, and I was like, oh my God, if my dad ever fucking sees that.
It was less intentional. It was more just random unboxing, and I'm just, you know.
Sorry.
Oopsie.
That would get you, like, literally. My dad would literally murder you, probably.
Yeah, I think I'm right to assume he wouldn't be happy. Anisa only seems to refer to herself as Muslim when it's convenient for her, as she once made a now deleted video called Why I Left Islam.
At 16 years old, I sat my dad down and I had a talk with him, basically telling him that I no longer wanted to be a part of Islam. I didn't want to be Muslim anymore, and I just wanted to be agnostic or spiritual. I don't really know what the word is, and he did not take it fantastic. Now, I understand why he wouldn't take it fantastic, because to him, this means that I'm going to hell. This is one of the worst things that could ever happen to him as a parent, and I think in a lot of ways he blamed himself because he married my mother, who was a Catholic who converted to Islam, and his father always warned him that that would mean that we would come out atheist. My dad didn't believe him, and I guess being faced with the reality of things was really hard on him, and it was a very difficult time for our family.
She still refers to herself as Muslim though, which heavily contradicts this. And for those thinking the term Muslim refers to race, not religion, Muslim literally refers to a follower of the religion of Islam. In her own words, Anisa is not that. I mean, she engages in some downright degenerate behavior, even posting nudes on the same day as her wedding. Why the fuck would she even do that? Shit like this is why people refer to Ian as a cuck. What guy would be perfectly fine with his significant other posting that stuff on the same day they're getting married? This happened in June 2021, with a couple having one of those shitty Vegas weddings. Ian would then legally change his last name.
What the hell is this?
Is that her last name?
He's taken her last name. They married in June, with Idubbbz' last name changed from Washburn to Jomha. My brother, oh man.
Man, I want to see chat right now.
While many saw the OnlyFans controversy as the beginning of the end for Idubbbz, in reality it was the same high drama. In spring of 2021, Ian filmed a documentary of controversial comedian Sam Hyde, which didn't turn out well for him. In fact, he pretty much had no plans of releasing it, at least until Sam himself put out his own version of the documentary in January 2022. According to him, he released what footage he had to recoup on the $15,000 he spent for it, and to entertain his fans. Now that people knew about it, Ian had no choice but to release his version, which came out a month later. Now I won't go too deep into this drama in this video, so go watch my Idubbbz documentary for that. All you need to know is that Sam knew Ian was trying to make some sort of hit piece, so he decided to troll him a little bit. He made a document that features loads of lighthearted gags.
Joey, can you open up the Idubbbz gaslighting document? Flip the breaker and pretend the power is out. Sam insists we keep working and gets really mad. Work on pen and paper. Okay, anything else? Buy fake Beeple NFTs. Jet was in the corner on the Xbox the whole time. Yeah, I know, that's fine. Scroll down, what else we got?
I would have done that too. I would have taken that job.
It is slowly
Xbox
revealed
all day.
Sam is an adult baby and eats applesauce and baby food in private. Pacifier. Sam temper tantrum. I wanted to go karting. We didn't go karting. We rented the slingshot though.
What they ended up doing was renting out an old dentist's office to be their headquarters, hiring a fake bodyguard, constantly unboxing Legos, and boxing under an old bridge. The biggest was hiring a cracked out looking woman to play Sam's girlfriend, which fooled Ian to the point that he actually believed she was being abused. This was revealed to be false in the interview, though Idubbbz seemed more pissed than glad, since he couldn't use this against Sam now. Some theorize that Sam intentionally made Danny into a mirror of Anisa, both being crazy, tattooed girls with a shaved head. Ian spends much of the documentary trying to explain Sam's humor, while also acting like the joke police at times. Both videos were received quite well, though some poked fun at how much of a pussy Ian came across. Sam would release this video thanking Idubbbz once both videos were released. Around this time, Ian and Anisa began promoting a charity boxing event called Creator Clash, where they gathered various large content creators to box each other. Sam showed interest in joining, though both turned him down. Anisa in particular referred to him as a business risk.
We worked with Sam Hyde for a period, and it was tough. You know, he was wanting to put on his own show, and he did, and it was funny. But he's not a super cooperative guy. He's very unpredictable. So involving him in our event just isn't a good idea. I think most people would.
Business risk.
I think most people would understand that.
Yeah.
Now at the surface level, I guess you could say that's true. Sam is a controversial guy and had his Adult Swim show canceled. However, the reasoning doesn't seem fleshed out.
Look, I understand that, Sam might not be on brand, but as far as a show and entertainment, like, yes. That's right.
Yeah, we would lose half the card though. Like, legit, actually, and all the sponsors.
Do these fighters care about charity or what? You're saying they'd leave because of one guy? Sounds kinda pussyish to me, but what do you expect from a bunch of LA YouTubers? Sam still found a way to be involved in the event through training Harley Morenstein, and planned to show up at the event with the rest of his crew. He bought $10,000 worth of front row tickets to surprise Harley, though once arriving they faced a problem. In his interview with Brandon Buckingham, Sam and Jet Neptune describe what happened at a party held the day before the event. They were immediately confronted by Ian, who began pressuring Harley to make them leave. They ended up moving things outside where Ian revealed this.
So we're talking to him and we're trying to reason. Here was Ian's A plan. He knew about the tickets before we pulled up. He was gonna ban all of Sam's tickets, he was gonna refund them, and none of us could come in. And it was gonna be a surprise for when we first got there.
Yeah, he was gonna wait until I was in Tampa to spring that news on me.
That was his gift to you? That was his nice surprise gift?
Yeah, haha, made you come to Tampa.
Who's the puppet master now, Samuel?
Yeah, exactly.
They ended up negotiating, and only Sam was banned from the event. During the same interview, Sam began mocking Anisa, seeing her as partially responsible for getting banned from the event.
Like, deep down, I want him to be uncucked. I want him to get the tattoos lasered off, get a normal haircut, get rid of Yoko Ono, because that's poisonous. That relationship is poisonous. She's like his entertainment handler. Like, she's his fucking career manager now or something. She's got to go, man. She's gonna ruin his life. I guarantee it. Mark my words. Mark my words. That woman is gonna ruin his life.
No, I heard she's been ghostwriting all the best parts of Content Cop the past 10 years. She is Idubbbz.
That's what I heard as well. I heard. But anyway, deep down, I want him to shed this cuckoldry, and succeed. I want him to succeed.
A month later on the PKA podcast, Sam would continue criticizing Anisa.
What I've seen and what I've heard from other people is that she is almost like his handler. So when he's talking to people backstage at the Creator Clash, when he's telling my crew that I'm kicked out, that I can't come, all that stuff, he's kind of sitting back, like in the background, like approving of certain things that are said, or just sort of sitting there. And Anisa is the one that's doing all the talking. Oh, there she is right there. What a peach. What a sweet little peach.
Actually, I don't know. You say she's a whore?
Well, she's got an OnlyFans, so she's kind of, yeah.
I'm just saying, you know.
But that's what I've heard anecdotally, is that she's the one who does the talking in this relationship, which is kind of strange because she's not famous. She's famous for being Idubbbz' girlfriend. What the fuck does she have an opinion about? And I've heard from her family that she's weird too. And I'm not going to talk about that because the person that contacted me is nice, but she's like a freak.
just chatting with her family.
I
heard from her family she's weird, but I'm not allowed to go any more into that.
Yeah, she is weird.
Besides Sam prank calling Ian, Sam really wouldn't interact with Ian and Anisa for the rest of 2022. On August 27th, he'd fight in KSI's 2 Fights 1 Night event, facing I Am Thompson in the heavyweight division. This event really proved Ian and Anisa wrong, showing that he wasn't a business risk and greatly enhanced the boxing scene. He played a character known as the Candyman in press conferences, and gave the following speech once beating Thompson.
You got anyone you want to call out in the heavyweight division?
Oh, you know it, lad. You know that Hassan Piker? I'm coming to kill you! In Los Angeles, at your house!
Or in the ring?
No, in real life. I'm going to stalk him and become obsessed with him, and wear his makeup, and his dresses, and use his skin as a coat, like the ancient Irish did.
Well, that's your winner, Sam! Hey!
The event ended up selling 20,000 seats and 445,000 pay-per-views, showing that he was indeed not a business risk. In my opinion, Sam is more of an ego risk to Ian and Anisa. During a stream in January 2023, Anisa would bring up the Sam Hyde drama. It's pretty boring, but I'll show you the most important part.
Ian, we talked about like the possibility of like maybe one day going back and trying to film like something again, like trying to like maybe now Sam would be more open to it, but to be honest, I have a very strong feeling in my head. It's like that my dad always used to talk about the scorpion and the frog. I don't know if you guys like have ever heard that story, the scorpion and the frog, where the frog, he's like, he knows not to trust the scorpion. Scorpion, like, wants to kill the frog, wants to kill and eat the frog. But there's one day the scorpion is stranded on an island, and he needs to get off the island because obviously he's fucked, he can't swim. So he asks the frog to help him, and the frog, thinking like, okay, like, you know, you need help. If we get into the water, you know, you sting me, we both die. I can help you. I know that you're not gonna like hurt me on the way back. And the scorpion ends up stinging him, and they both drown. And he's like, why'd you do that? And the scorpion's like, I'm a scorpion. It's in my nature. And my dad's always like, see, some people, it's just in their nature to do things like this, and it's just who they are. Anyways, you gotta learn from the scorpion and the frog.
So here, she's comparing Sam to the scorpion and Ian to the frog. She's saying that Sam backstabbed Ian in an attempt to help him, which really doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Because in reality, Ian backstabbed Sam by blacklisting him from his charity event. Sam would respond back in a stream that same week.
Young Rich Stoner with the 15 says, Sam, get Jed a raise for the consistently pleasant streams. Also, in Anisa's own words, Sam, you are a scorpion and Ian is a frog. Some kind of Muslim story fable, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so, man. I think it's the opposite, my fellow.
He's the scorpion?
He's a fucking snake.
Oh, there we go. And what are you?
What do you think about that? I think he's a fucking snake.
He might be too foolish to be evil.
He's got an ego. Yeah. And he thinks he's a fucking like mastermind. And he definitely viewed me as a tool, like a documentary subject, stepping stone, guy that he could eviscerate with his big brain in order to make 4chan stop calling him a cuck, etc.
That was the plan.
That was his plan. So fuck that guy. And I'm not a Scorpion either. If he, even Hassan Piker or Idubbbz, like the people I call out as a joke, like I'm willing to like horse trade with people. Yeah. If Ian ever hit me up and was like, hey man, can you leave me alone? I'd stop talking about him. Whatever. I don't care that much. But Scorpion, because I flipped it on him when he came out here to make me look like an ass. I don't think so, Anisa, bitch, ho. Try again, sweetie.
Anisa or Anissa?
It doesn't matter. Even your own family hates you, bitch. Anissa's family hits me up. Her family. I've been hit up by her family members talking shit about her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus, man.
Even your own family hates you, bitch. What does that say about you and how fucked up you are? They said that you used your Alzheimer's father as a dramatic prop. That's what Creator Clash 1 was for. It was for Alzheimer's or something like that. Yeah. And Anissa was up there like, oh, I'm just so happy we could raise all this money for Alzheimer's. One of your own fucking family members hit me up and said you don't care that much about your father, and that your father you have like a strained relationship or something, and that you don't care about Alzheimer's. So fuck you, bitch, hoe, slut.
Now the part about some of Anissa's family disliking her seems to be true. Beezle linked me to an Instagram account of Anissa's sister, who currently follows Froggy Fresh and used to be followed by Sam. I'm not going to show it for privacy reasons, so you just have to trust me on that one. Though Anisa herself made a tweet in 2016, saying a family member has been involving their father in drama. I think what Sam said about Ian being a snake is true. I don't think he's purposely malicious, but Anisa is. She would be the Scorpion in this situation, as she has a history of backstabbing her friends over petty drama. She definitely has some level of influence over Ian. I wouldn't really describe Sam as a frog in the situation though. I think that role perfectly fits the aptly named Froggy Fresh. Froggy was set to fight Anisa's crush, Chris Raygun in Creator Clash 2, but got removed only a few weeks before the event. Anisa and Ian didn't really explain why at the time, instead issuing out a statement that looks like it was written using ChatGPT. There were 3 possible reasons why Tyler was removed. 1. The OnlyFans joke. 2. Anisa's mom causing drama. Using one of her alt accounts, she sent multiple tweets calling him numbnuts and an imp. He fought back, making jabs at Anisa and Ian's relationship. 3. He trained with Sam Hyde. Ian would reveal that this was the reason why he was kicked in his video about the situation, where he showed multiple clips of Sam saying some pretty naughty things. These all came out after Anisa's stream, being compiled into one 40-minute video.
Fucking Anisa. What an ugly piece of shit. I'm sending this to Anissa's OnlyFans. It goes directly into charity.
Yeah.
Thank you, Silent Water.
Snap Daddy says, Sam, you should change your name to Ian Washburn so when Idubbbz tries to change it back after the divorce, he'll have to get a number at the end of it.
Yeah! Yeah! I love that.
Hey, Luck Dog, man, thank you for the 20. I always thought the lighting was weird in the Idubbbz doc. It was he was very lit and you were under a shadow, almost like he was trying to paint you in a bad light. Puppet Master? Maybe I'm overthinking. Either way, thanks y'all.
He is quite the puppet master. He's really puppet mastered himself into a cuck situation where everybody hates him and his wife's a slut. Which is exactly what you would do if you were a puppet master.
Exactly.
You gotta finish my sentence. And that's exactly what you would do if you were a puppet master!
What Ian didn't show is a clip where Sam and his crew scroll through Anisa's Fansly account and review her photos. Fansly is an off-brand OnlyFans, by the way. They sponsor a lot of creator events.
Is that his hand?
I don't think so.
What?
That's not bad.
Nah, it's not bad at all. It's
Come
not
on,
worth
man.
it, man. It's just not worth it.
I mean, I wouldn't pay for that.
You gotta have higher standards.
I would
here,
do it.
gentlemen.
I would do it.
What's the most unusual?
My standards are fine.
The most unusual one is this one.
Because whose hand is that?
Oh no.
Yeah.
No.
There's no tattoos on that hand, that's all I'm gonna say. That's Muhammad.
Don't explicitly talk about what we're looking at.
We're not looking at. We're looking at a website that I
stocks
created.
Whoa.
Oh, okay.
That was scary.
God, how humiliating must that be that your greatest enemy can easily look at photos of your wife naked? Ian's more emasculated than Will Smith at this point. Now, something that really irks me the wrong way in this video is that Ian treats Anisa like she's a victim who should be respected.
Let me just say, Anisa is just trying to exist. You know, she doesn't want anything to do with the drama. She doesn't want anything to do with this shit. And I have brought a lot of it into her life. And I take responsibility for that.
Ian, your wife has been getting shit for almost a decade now. And it's not because of you. She's always been talking shit. The problem is that she can't take the same amount of hate back and handles drama poorly. She tried getting herself involved in the same high drama and made things worse. And now they're taking things out on Tyler instead of properly communicating things. They're just acting like crybabies at this point, not even being able to handle Sam Hyde's jokes.
This is my request. I would like you to not harass me or my wife or anyone that we're friends with. Also, harassment encompasses all the little loopholes, all right? You can't just then like refer to me as a goblin and be like, I didn't say his name. I wasn't talking about him. I was talking about a goblin. That's not acceptable.
To me, Tyler was the one who got backstabbed. His YouTube career had fallen into obscurity and was given an opportunity to fight in a creator event. They sort of relied on each other, but Anisa and Ian in turn backstabbed him over the pettiest shit. Also take note of the fact that Anisa has a scorpion tattoo and a tattoo of a frog being stabbed. Truly poetic. A lot of Anisa's involvement in the creator clash drama was behind the scenes, as she talked to various creators to speak on their behalf and failed to communicate with Tyler. There's also the Chris Raygun angle that I really haven't seen a lot of people talk about. During Keemstar's Twitter space about the situation, Tyler began opening up about his theories regarding Chris. He speculates that Ian made him box Chris knowing Tyler would win and beat him up. He thinks Ian secretly despises Chris, since Anisa still crushes on him. Tyler thinks Anisa didn't want this to happen.
Froggy, think about it. Anisa secretly has a connection to Chris Raygun. She's seeing your videos of you on Twitter absolutely jacked, ripped, ready to beat the shit out of him. She can't help watch her secret love Chris Raygun get his ass kicked, so she needs to do anything she can to stop it.
Right, I didn't even know I was this good at boxing, but the websites are giving me like a 93% chance of winning just because they could tell what trailer park I grew up in.
Dude, this is wildly insane because, like, look, what kind of proof or evidence is there out there of Chris Raygun and Anisa like being a thing? Because
I'll tell you what evidence there is. Bro, when we gone out to damn Denny's in this when that Mucha Lucha, shout out to John Hennigan, the Mucha Lucha wrestling event, bro, Chris and Ian, Anisa and Chris got so much damn chemistry. I swear to God, they were damn talking the whole damn night back and forth to each other. When I would try to talk to Chris Raygun, it looked like Anisa would get upset at me. And I'm to be honest with you, I was feeling Chris Raygun too, so I even get it. Because I was feeling Chris Raygun. I was like, dude, if I was bi or gay, I fuck with Chris Raygun heavy. So it's like when me and Chris would be chatting it up. It was like Anisa be looking at me like I'm trying to take her fucking man.
God damn! Keem, to answer your question too, I'm literally watching a video right now on Anisa's YouTube channel, and she's like basically, like, it looks like they're dating. Like if you were to show this to anybody, they look like they're dating. They're going out to eat at restaurants, like fancy restaurants by themselves. Like it looks like they're dating.
So the theory goes like this, right? She couldn't date Chris Raygun because Chris Raygun started dating Lacey Green. She lost her opportunity, so she started dating a Chris Raygun lookalike, which is Idubbbz, because they look similar. That's the online theory and meme.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now this is just a theory, but Tyler's story seems credible. I mean, here's a photo that they all took that night.
And it reminds me of, like, not to make a crude analogy, but it reminds me of, instead of putting clothes on Anisa, he demands that the entire audience is blindfolded.
Wow, that was intelligence right there. That was deep. That was
getting deep. Getting biblical tonight.
That was actually deep, bro. Like, I'm never gonna forget that quote, Froggy. Like, my whole life, I'm gonna remember that.
If you're not aware, the Poggers community is one big loose collective of Twitch streamers, made up of a bunch of smaller groups. You have the girl gamers like Pokimane, Valkyrae, and Cutie Cinderella, the members of OTK like Asmongold, Mizkif, and Tectone, and then you have the more political streamers like Asan Piker and his goons like Frogan, Sean the Black, Casey Tron, and Denims. Anisa herself definitely associates with this group of people, regularly interacting with them online. In fact, in February of last year, Casey Tron invited her to become part of a new livestream podcast called The Take. They streamed the pilot episode on the 27th, with it being an excruciating 2.5 hours. And yes, I have listened to the whole thing. Kill me now. I talked about it a bit in my Poggers community video, so here I'll summarize a lot of it. Once it starts, the three women state that they want this podcast to be different, as they want to bring out some new perspectives.
Yeah, I think there's like I think that there has been for a while a sort of gap in Twitch for this exact thing, for some female content creators to come together and just talk about the space. Because I think a lot of people are very scared to talk about the space, and I think a lot of people are scared to upset other people. And I think all of us are at the point where we don't really care if we upset other people. I think we've all accepted that it's gonna happen, and it is what it is. So we're gonna say our truth or whatever.
I find this hilarious because these people then spent the next 150 minutes regurgitating Hassan talking points. I mean, Denims herself is basically just the female version of him. She even refers to herself as the biggest female political streamer on Twitch. If you haven't seen my video on her, she's basically a political extremist who thinks Osama bin Laden was justified in orchestrating the September 11th attacks, made a quote-unquote joke death threat, tried downplaying the Balenciaga scandal, plays other people's content, defended Keffels 2 months ago, and calls people Nazis with no evidence at all. This is the person Anisa is good friends with. Just breathe that in. Now, Casey isn't as bad, but in the past, she's made statements about how people should spread COVID as much as possible, once got banned for playing an entire movie on stream, and had an embarrassing feud with Asmongold where she basically just started calling everyone an incel all willy-nilly. Now, much of this podcast is basically just these three projecting, as they criticize others for things they themselves are guilty of. For much of the episode, they rightfully criticize Aiden Ross, who is an Andrew Tate dick rider for an actual case of retardation.
A far-right authorization on ultra-analytic, oh my god, ultra-analytist.
Now my issue is when they try to label all criticism of sex work as Andrew Tate shit.
You're right, though. They are starting with this whole, like, porn is bad, just like Aiden was on about, because it's some Andrew Tate shit, isn't it?
Yes. They're going back to purity culture. Like, we're reverting further and further back into, like, this, like, I think they're trying to get back to this time period where they felt like they were in more control overall, right? Which is like this purity Christian, like saving yourself for your partner, or whatever the, like, porn rots your brain, or whatever the argument is.
Anisa, not everyone is some no-fap Christian. I'd say a lot of the hate towards OF is the fact that it's been shoved down everyone's throats and it's being way too normalized. I swear, like a decent chunk of all female influencers have an OnlyFans linked in their bio. The issue with this conversation is that they're trying to criticize a group of extremists, from a pretty extremist side as well. It just goes nowhere, and they then dunk on Aiden for making stupid statements to get attention.
Again, like, going back to the Aiden Ross stuff, it's like hating women, hating minorities, making statements like there are only two genders. Like, these are easy things for him to do. It takes very little effort. It attracts a certain type of people that are very passionate because, love and hate, same amount of passion, different side of the coin. And you either get people that love what you're saying or hate what you're saying, and that's like a very quick way to get, like, a lot of viewers.
Now that is good criticism, but it's coming from the wrong people. I mean, all three of these women are e-girls who all have a history of saying divisive shit for attention. They also use their bodies for attention, with both Anisa and Denims producing adult content. I mean, they have to know what type of audience they will attract, but they play dumb a lot. Now, the only other episode aired on March 13th, focusing a lot on the Streamer Awards. If you don't know what that is, it's basically the Oscars for generic talentless streamers created by QT Cinderella. They're usually boring 3-hour circle jerks. They talk about how Kai Cenat was a no-show despite winning the Streamer of the Year award. They speculate why he would be invited there in the first place, as he's part of a different streaming community. QTC was in a tough spot either way, so Anisa begins comparing it to something she's been dealing with recently.
It reminds me kind of just like what me and Ian are dealing with this year, where it's like, when you work with people, you have to accept that you're inviting chaos, and you can, like, watch the chaos and, like, try and guide it softly as much as you can, but, like, when you try to, like, grab onto it and control it, you're only asking for, like, pain on your end and pain for, like, the event. And sometimes you really do have to make the call of, like, I have to take my hands completely off and just, like, accept that I'm working with unpredictable people.
Now, a few like myself believe that she's referring to the Froggy Fresh situation before she made it public. I mean, Tyler first retweeted Sam on March 12th, the day before this broadcasted. This theory is further supported about 30 minutes later, while they were discussing the Just a Mink situation.
Having a boundary walked over is a very painful experience. We recently had a boundary walked over, and it really, I think, it feels very similar to being cheated on, to be honest, where it's like, what did I do to you to deserve this type of like treatment? Like, I'm not asking for much, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's what it feels like.
First of all, I find it hilarious that Anisa, a known cheater, is describing it like that. Plus, all Tyler did was retweet shit. And if you look at the text between Ian and Tyler, Ian didn't properly set boundaries and instead tried manipulating Tyler into doing what he wanted. Anisa herself has said that she doesn't like unpredictable people, which to me signifies why she doesn't like Sam and Tyler.
I have to take my hands completely off and just like accept that I'm working with unpredictable people. I have been around people like Sam before I was on the internet, and they are very, to me, unpredictable people, and I don't like unpredictable people.
He's not a super cooperative guy. He's very unpredictable. So involving him in our event just isn't a good idea. I think most people would.
It's just a massive business risk.
This way of thinking honestly extends to the Poggers community in general. A large group of creators who never take risks and play it safe when it comes to their reputation. Creators that rely more on a fake, goody two-shoes persona instead of actually making good content. It's pretty obvious to me why Anisa, and Ian in turn, would want to associate with these people more. It's honestly genius. Anisa made her way into a conglomerate friend group filled with people just as crooked as she is. Now, ever since that episode, the three have seemingly never recorded another one. During one of Ian's streams, Anisa did mention a third episode being recorded in July, but that never happened. Very typical of Twitch streamers. Another connection Anisa has in this community is Frogan, who she spoke very highly of in The Take. She's basically just another Hassan stooge, who many have been rightfully criticizing over the past year, as she's made some questionable tweets and tried labeling Ethan Klein as a dangerous Zionist. She got rightfully called out after shitting on Ludwig and calling him a cracker. Why would she do this? Well, Ludwig wasn't promoting a pro-Palestine fundraiser the way she would've. Many began making fat jokes about her, which showed how much of a crybaby Frogan truly is. One of her few defenders would be Anisa, who tweeted, "I'm not surprised at the Islamophobia rhetoric online. As a white Arab, I've heard what y'all say about Arabs/Muslims in private before. It is socially acceptable to say it out loud again. Get more creative then. Lol, you're fat." First of all, where is the Islamophobia? People are calling her fat, not a suicide bomber. Second of all, Anisa is the last person to criticize fat jokes. I mean, here's her making a fat joke about the quartering recently.
I want to clarify, being like overweight and athletic are not hand in hand, but I promise you the quartering cannot walk a block.
True. True.
Without getting out of breath.
Yeah.
Is my point.
And I mean, you can do that, but as I said before, don't act like some body positivity activist and then do that. You can't pick and choose who you do it to. Just stay consistent. It's not that hard. Either all of it's okay or none of it's okay. Now, for the past 2 years, Ian's been trying to distance himself from his past content, doing what's effectively an apology tour. This began with Ian and Anisa's appearance on the H3 podcast in April of 2022, where Anisa brags about her involvement in the Tana content comp, and then shows regret towards it.
I also take ownership for the Tana. The Tana thing was my.
Oh, that was so long ago.
Was my idea. Was my stupid idea.
Yeah.
I was the one that was.
He suggested, like, we can go to the place. It's just in San Francisco. I'm like, it is just in San Francisco.
Yeah, that drive and everything. And now I think back to it, I'm like, I can't believe we literally harassed an 18-year-old child at her show.
Why are you describing her as a child? She's a legal adult at the time. What do you have, Cody Cobrain? Should I describe Anisa's ex Acadian as a child then? The duo would then appear on Hassan's stream 2 months later, where Hassan tried painting Ian's old content as inherently political.
It didn't seem like you were, any different than any other content creator on YouTube in that same era. As a matter of fact, you were probably like more towards the center or left than most content creators of that era, because you were shitting on the most like right-wing content creators of that era. Maybe not like officially positioning yourself as that, right, but it did feel like, you were like, you dunked on Keemstar, Rice Gum, like, obviously these are apolitical people, but they're still like very heavily slanted to the right. Leafy, another person like that. Like these, and some of them have come out about their position, come out with their political positions, but like I would say that they were still like very much like the attitude that they resemble was very much like right wing. You know what I mean?
What is Blood yapping about? Now I do partially agree with his assertion that Ian was more center or left wing, as many edgy YouTubers around 2016 would fit into that category. There was Ethan, Chris Raygun, Shoe on Head, and loads more anti-SJW creators who are self-proclaimed leftists. But the rest of what Hassan said was stupid. Trying to claim that those creators Ian was going after were conservatives is kind of dumb. Ian also never made political or social statements besides the occasional joke.
Oh no, it's not a victimhood photo book, it's a feminist photo book. What's the difference?
Hassan is trying to relabel Ian's old content, so that others in the streaming community will be more willing to forgive him. Ian would go on to copy Ethan's approach, which he refers to as the Reckoning. Ethan explains it to Pokimane in this clip.
Yeah, there was some growing pains, I guess you could call it, as you sort of shed the vestiges of that part of your fan base. But we got through it. We came out the other side stronger.
We call them fallen fans. They're easy to spot. I missed you. Anyway, that's it.
Sorry for that long clip. Anyways, Ethan didn't realize how disastrous this would be. He started garnering a more extreme left fan base when shedding the extreme right-wing fans. Now, whenever he says anything edgy on air, he gets backlash. Him and his crew secretly hate these fans, as seen in another April 2022 episode.
Honestly, just so over these fucking people. Shut the fuck up! Shut up!
I mean, I was just trying to make the call fun.
Yes, it's a
funny.
fucking entertaining show. Shut the fuck up.
Someone says, I don't know what's up.
So disappointing.
Someone said,
grow up. Jesus fucking Christ.
Dan.
I don't know what's up with Ethan today, but something's off. Bad vibes this episode.
Shut the fuck up. Unsubscribe. Go away. Jesus Christ.
Ethan now has to walk on eggshells, which Ian has also been having to do. In March of 2023, Ian would appear on Anthony Padilla's show, where he describes his old fans as basement-dwelling losers and talks about his frequent associations.
You know, that's what some people would call meditation.
Yeah.
When you're in that kind of state of overexertion while clearing your mind.
Oh, no, not overexertion. I love to just check out. Just randomly. Maybe like when I'm driving.
Oh, that's called dissociation. That's a different thing.
Yeah.
That's not meditation.
Yeah, I love doing that.
He's basically like that in every interview he does with Anisa. He's like Mordecai in that one episode of Regular Show where he watches Planet Chaser Starlight Excellent.
He's been like this ever since he watched the video, and now he doesn't remember any of the stuff we used to do.
Then in the Froggy Fresh video, he hinted at a bigger apology video, which came out in May 2023. Here he shows regret over making Content Cop episodes, saying that none of the subjects he talked about deserved it. Pretty much none of them accepted his apology, with Tana saying she didn't deserve one.
I kind of think I deserved that. And maybe that's dark to say, but I don't feel like I'm owed an apology.
Ian also apologized for his use of slurs in the past, which came off as performative to many. In July, Ian would be interviewed by Alurinati. Who is she? Basically, she's a racially motivated activist who is chronically addicted to Twitter. She points out the Jinx Content Cop and says Ian should apologize to him for the sole reason of Jinx being black.
You know, basically what you're honing in on is saying is they're untalented or there isn't work that goes into their videos, right? Why isn't it sufficient enough to have your platform, right? You already have your platform that is in some way being boosted and made on this kind of bigoted content. That's one thing to exist in that space, but to not allow this other black creator to exist. And in this...
Okay, hold on. Jinx made fucking reaction videos. Alay didn't do her research, so she doesn't know that everyone rightfully hated Jinx. The only difference now is that lazy reaction content is socially acceptable now because of people like Hassan and XQC. Anisa would end up leaving a comment on this video, where she really seemed to enjoy it. Though later on, she showed frustration to Francesca Ramsey, who also appeared in the video. Francesca claimed Ian made a video bullying her, though he never made one. With this apology tour, Ian and Anisa hope to regain respect from the wider internet, though most only care to defend them until the drama died down. Both barely get views anymore, with Anisa's typical stream having around 100 viewers, and Ian's 7 million subscriber channel only gaining 200,000 views on average. What the two have really been focusing on is Creator Clash, an event I've been mentioning throughout this video. The first Creator Clash did incredibly well, raising over $1 million for charity and bringing together various influencers. Things fell apart for the second event, as Ian and Anisa lost $250,000. Many think this happened solely due to the bad press the couple got for the Froggy Fresh drama, but it's more complicated than that. There's honestly quite a few reasons why, which culminate in two big reasons. They played things too safe and overspent on various expenses. Ian only partially admitted to some of this, saying that he spent a lot of money on a hotel, which apparently cost him $150,000. He then blames piracy on the event losing money, though many in his comment section pointed out how poorly he promoted the event on his socials. The same could go for Anisa, whose Twitter bio still reads, "Boxing promoter, married to a boxer." No matter what she tells people on Twitter, she is a terrible boxing promoter. I mean, here's Ian and her admitting that they barely checked up on one of the fighters.
Another crazy one was Minx.
We also found out that she had only sparred like 3 times before fighting.
That's horrible.
Which is not what we were wanting to happen.
Here's Tyler saying something similar.
Like, Anisa never reached out to me one time about anything regarding my training, a single time. And I'm not even trying to be like, it's just like when they come out with these statements, it's like, it's such a caring environment where everyone is happy and we all wear the same Nike tracksuits. It's just like, no, just don't do that, and then I don't gotta address it.
Right. Dad kept making those statements that, like, look, Anisa's the one that calls you all the time to check in on you and make sure you're okay. And like, maybe that's true with Dad. Maybe that is his experience. But that's not been Froggy's. Like, Froggy has said from the very beginning, they don't call him.
Yet she had the goal to tweet out, "I have direct contact of every coach we work with. I know what every fighter's expenses look like. I have regular check-ins to make sure everyone is taking it seriously. No one's making a bag off CC." And by the way, she's referring to the fact that these fighters are given $20,000 to train, which is described as a stipend. First off, can these big influencers not pay for their training themselves? It's a charity event, not some UFC fight. Second, these guys clearly do it for the money.
So what's the allure of doing a boxing match like this?
Money. You know, the competitive spirit runs deep in me, and yeah, money.
And despite how much credit Anisa is getting from hosting Creator Clash 2, where is she in Ian's apology? In fact, where is she during his other apology, since she loves taking credit for some of the content cops? Well, when asked about this, she says that it wouldn't make any sense, as she's never been in any of Ian's videos. She has been in his videos, they stream together, and now they have a podcast together. She is there, and she is involved. Stop lying. Now, another thing Ian mentions in his Creator Clash 2 video is his reasoning for throwing various events before and after the fights. Ian justifies this by describing his experience after the first event.
We also had events the day before the fight and the day after the fight, so that, you know, fighters and friends and family could come together and process their trauma. That was sort of paramount for me because the first year we did the fight and then I went to bed. I got the shit kicked out of me by Dr. Mike, and then I went to bed, and then I woke up, the hotel was empty, and then I got on a flight and traveled 5 hours with my face completely swollen back to Seattle, and I was like, that was cool, that was so worth it. There was nothing, there was no processing my trauma, there was no talking to anyone and relating about the experience afterward. Everyone was gone.
Dude, where the fuck was your wife?
Dude, what the f***? Why are you f***ing here, man? You're so old. Where's your wife? Go home to your family, dude.
For as supporting as she claims to be, why wasn't she there for you after you got the shit beaten out of you? Was she visiting Chris Ray Gun in New York again? These events were various parties the couples threw. 4 to be precise. These definitely cost loads of money, as the comedian they hired cost $20,000.
Now we all have monkeypox. Good, get the fuck out of here. Let me earn my $20,000.
This is what they wasted charity money on, by the way.
A whole new world. I wish this was 2 minutes. What the fuck? With new horizons to pursue.
Invited to these events, as well as the Red Carpet Gala, were various streamer friends of Anisa's like Denims, Hassan, Morgpie, Alay, Casey Tron, and Frogan, along with various other creators they knew. Wait, why the fuck did they let Starkilla's Stalker in? A few other streamers who associate with the Poggers community worked as hosts, mainly being Fun and Amaranth. God, how many sex workers did you invite, Anisa? And some of these other people are just randos I've never heard of. The same can be said for most of these fighters, who are either irrelevant YouTubers or those with barely much of an audience to begin with. I mean, you have Alana Pierce, a former video games journalist who makes generic commentary videos, Dad, who gets like 10k views on his average video, Jaileray, who has less than 2,000 subscribers, and Dakota Alave, whose last 5 videos have a collective 5,000 views. I mention this because when you do an influencer boxing event, you have to get actual influencers, not random friends of yours. The first event did so well because they got people you actually knew. This time around, they got a bunch of YouTubers they probably found smoking crack behind VidCon. People don't watch Creator Clash because these guys are particularly good at boxing. They watched him to see people they know getting the shit beaten out of them. That's what made the Boogie and Winks of Redemption fight so interesting. Nobody wants to see Jalloray fight Gus Johnson's ex-girlfriend. What I think the big issue is here is that Ian and Anisa became too overconfident after the first event, leading to the second one falling flat. They made things too safe, and never took any good risks that would lead to new interest. Another way to word it is to say that it was too predictable. Again, Anisa doesn't like unpredictability. She doesn't like things that go against her way of thinking. This also leads to her not wanting to be around people she can't immediately control or have some sort of influence over. This weeds out the potential amount of creators she would have on, and others don't want to box. Anisa herself doesn't want to box, making excuses time and time again. I mean, there definitely are people willing to fight her.
Anisa, I'm sorry to hear this, you have to hear this from me, but I'm gonna fight you.
No. I'm your
also an
biggest fan.
OnlyFans model that is curvy and I have tattoos, so let's get in the fucking ring.
They poorly managed this event by losing at $250,000 by spending money on stupid parties and to increase security. They are so willing to make sure Sam High doesn't make it in, yet Anisa invites various adult content creators. And yes, Sam is edgy, but you can't tell me inviting these women wouldn't be just as problematic. They were so scared of Sam showing up that security was kicking out anyone simply wearing a mask, including these Garfield cosplayers. All because Sam jokingly alluded to showing up in drag.
I'm gonna be there in drag.
Yeah.
And if security touches me, it's on.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be a big problem.
They wouldn't put their hands on a woman like that.
So I hope I hope they're ready for a huge fucking problem if they try to keep me out of that place. And I am going.
Yeah.
In a wig. I got multiple wigs to throw Idubbbz off the scent. I got my Rasta wig right here. I could be black. I could be a girl. You'll never know. Who's that big black girl trying to get in that's fighting with security right now?
A few days before the event, he also jokingly alluded to catching a flight.
Man, I want to keep working out for like 2 hours, but I gotta go. Fuck.
A flight?
Yeah, the flight.
Did you pack?
Mm-mm.
If you followed Sam around this time, you knew he would have been too busy to show up to Creator Clash 2, as Fish Tank Live was about to begin streaming, and he was filming World Peace 2. But Ian and Anisa are paranoid, so they wasted more money trying to ward off the Candyman. Apparently the couple are planning to do Creator Clash 3, though a lot needs to change for it to be a success. I mean, at this rate, these guys are going to start losing money and go broke.
Yeah, you mentioned you got to start earning money again. Are you guys not earning anything right now?
No.
Oh boy.
We have not earned money for the past 2 years, which makes taxes very easy.
That's good.
Nice.
We love that. Easy taxes. I like looking at the bright side of things.
For the past year, Ian and Anisa have been trying to lay low after how disastrous the first half of 2023 was for them. However, they kept getting into more drama, as they continued saying stupid shit thinking only their fans would hear it. Ian would begin streaming more on Twitch, where Anisa would join him on video call. These streams are incredibly awkward, and Anisa would occasionally embarrass him for no reason at all. The biggest example was during Ian's 24-hour charity livestream to get back the money he lost for charity. While Ian was going to the bathroom, Anisa started talking about how Ian has IBS.
Yeah, Ian, I think he has irritable bowel syndrome, to be honest.
Anisa brings up Ian's old friend Rajor, saying they should invite him on.
Well, I want to ask Rajor a question first.
Okay.
Rajor...
Wait, we should get Rajor in here.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you can.
Well, if he can. I just want to ask him if you've always been shitting your pants.
No.
Because since I've known you, you've always had, like, IBS. You've always been shitting yourself.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm not
Oh,
gonna
he's
spend.
at a cafe.
No, he's cafeing it.
I could care less if Ian has IBS, but why would you tell your entire viewing audience that he shits himself a lot? Ian was already dead inside, streaming for 19 hours at this point, but holy shit. That's not even the most embarrassing part of the stream though.
Is he asleep? No, he's reading Twitter right now.
Yeah, sorry. I just saw Keffel's tweet, like, shitting on Nicholas Diorio. I fucking love that community. God damn. That's so fucking cool.
Yeah. Keffel's appreciated the shout out. She messaged me.
Nice.
I don't think I've ever seen a statement age like milk like that before. I'm glad Ian is in support of a scammer who promoted homemade drugs to minors that had lolly on the packaging. In another stream, the two have a conversation about how EMP is sitting down.
IP sitting. And Anisa can Back me up on that one.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I pee
What?
sitting?
Oh, sometimes, yeah, most of the time. I was getting real suspicious because, like, the bathroom is right by the bed, and he would be like, oh, I have to pee, and then there'd be no sound, and I was like, how the hell are you peeing with no sound? But it's because of the
way things are.
It's hard. I was like, what the hell? I thought maybe you just had a real weak stream or something.
Oh man, that'd be sad.
Oh yeah, that's sad. Not the fact you're talking about this in the first place. This goes back to what I said earlier in the video, that Anisa has no problem leaking private or embarrassing information about her partner. Ian comes across as melancholy all the time, even in his videos. It looks like he had the soul sucked out of him and he's just clinging on. Here's another stream where Ian gets raided by Betty, a freeloader from Sam Hyde's show Fish Tank. She's not too well known since she was only on the show for like a few days, but I won't be surprised if Ian knew who she was.
Beat 'em up, beat 'em up, beat 'em up. I got Reese's Puffs in my bowl. Nowadays on cruise control. I got Reese's Puffs in my bowl. It's just like
Man,
that.
this thing is loud.
Warlock? What are you doing?
What's that?
What are you doing? What's loud?
Oh, fucking raid.
Oh. Whoa, you got raided!
1 second.
Fish gang.
It's so cringeworthy, especially Anisa trying to get him to engage. He's like a deer in headlights. There's this narrative that Anisa is controlling and micromanaging him, which might be true, but I think it might be something else. My theory is that Ian is having to metaphorically hold her on a leash so she won't go off and say stupid shit, which fails a lot of the time. This drains the energy out of him at all times, which is why he appears lifeless.
To be honest, we probably are both of us true switch energy because in reality, like, I think I sound like very confident. I make zero decisions in our existence. I can't. I can't make a choice. If my life depended on it, he needs to do everything, and I don't really have any, like, it sounds crazy. I'm not embarrassed by it at all, to be honest. I'm actually very at peace with it, but I have zero goals and aspirations in life other than whatever he wants to do.
This is very true.
Yeah, I just want to help him do whatever he wants to do, and that's what makes me happy. So, but I sound very, it's because you talk to me enough that I know how you feel about things, and I want to passionately fight for you.
Yeah.
And that I think comes off it. It used to really bother me that my brain worked that way, and it's been like that ever since very young. I remember being in grade like 2 or 3 and then being like, write your goals and aspirations. And
I was laughing because someone just said that sounds like pelvic tilt energy.
Tilt energy.
That right there explains a lot. Now, a lot of the recent attention towards the couple has been through their new podcast, strangely titled She Ruined My Career. It's supposed to be a dig at the haters, but it comes across as so tryhard. Essentially, the two talk about random shit, while their buddy Uncle Dan just sits in the corner and yes-mans them. It's pretty much just a couples therapy podcast, as they end up talking about personal issues. Most people didn't really care at first, as it's on a secondary channel with only 36,000 subscribers. But then came an episode from February 2024, where they mention this while Ian gives dating advice.
I'm realizing that I'm caring less about body hair. Like women with like armpit hair or
I think that's my fault.
Arm hair.
Like 4 years ago, I just stopped shaving as often. And I think you've just had to get used to it.
No, that's not true.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You shave all the time.
No, I only shave when I'm doing OnlyFans.
No, I think your perception of like what is shaven and what is not shaven is different.
Okay.
Because you can get like a little stubble and you're like, oh, I'm Sasquatch or whatever. That's not true.
No.
To the untrained eye, I'm like, yeah, it's fucking, that's a naked leg.
No, I won't shave for like 3 weeks on my armpits sometimes. Sometimes I look down, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, the armpits I don't even fucking care about though.
I know.
And why does anyone care about that? They're just the fucking under your arm.
No,
like,
I know,
unless
I agree.
someone's like sexually attracted to armpits, I don't get the...
Which, by the way, I uploaded a picture of me yesterday where my arm was up, and someone did in the comments say, yes, armpit. So they do exist.
Yes. God, that pog face really seals the deal with that clip. Truly thought-provoking stuff. Getting to hear about Anisa shaving habits. After this clip got thrown around on Twitter, the duo responded 2 podcasts later.
You sort of offhandedly said like, oh, I only shave for OnlyFans or whatever. Something like that?
I only shave, that's true.
Yeah. Well, you would shave for me though. If I needed you to shave for me, you'd shave for me.
If you cared, but the amount of times you've told me not to shave, you're like, I don't give a shit. Why do you care?
They seem to think their critics care more about this than they do. Like, no, it's just people making fun of you for admitting this stuff. Only a few weeks later, they bring on a psychologist named Dr. Kirk Honda, with a segment dedicated to talking about the hate they've been getting online.
So the thing is, and what makes me kind of sad about all of this is like, I wanted to get him to share more. Like, as our relationship went on, I share a lot. He's wanted me to share less. I've wanted him to share more. We've started to meet in the middle. But as he shared more, he gets punished online for it.
Do you read all the comments though?
He does and is fine. I won't say fine, but way better than me. I'm the problem.
I think I would describe it kind of, she's described it a little bit like body dysmorphia, where it's like if you're looking at yourself in the mirror for a little too long, you can get a little bit really down on yourself. You know, you read one negative comment, you're like, all right, let's find another one.
Yeah.
And you keep going. Yeah. It's weird. It definitely hurts, and I can get caught in that.
Bro, just ignore the hate and move on. Also, the hate is pretty warranted in most areas, as you guys have fucked up a charity event and have spent the last year virtue signaling about how much you've changed for the better, while actively getting worse. Think about it, they're at the point where they invited a psychologist onto their public podcast to discuss the mean comments they get from strangers. Truly pathetic. Things got really bad for them in late April, when an episode from their Patreon exclusive podcast, The Bog, leaked. In it, they bring up the Creator Clash 2 drama again, as they discuss apparent legal issues resulting in the event losing money.
When we were being threatened to be sued, they actually said, the lawyer said that they didn't believe us, that we lost money on the second year.
Yeah.
And they wanted us to like show our like back end basically, and show them that we lost money. They like said that they used the fucking Bo Black video as like proof.
Which is why even though if you come out and you make videos where you aren't necessarily alleging things, but everything that you're saying is like an implication, it still fucking has real world consequences, and it's fucking bullshit.
Crazy.
Some lawyers trying to use this as
an argument.
They're basically trying to push the blame towards their critics again, specifically Bo Black, since he theorized how the event lost money. He never implied they stole money, just that they mismanaged it, which is true. Same thing goes with the other commentary channels that covered this. They then whine about how much they sacrificed with the event, blaming it on pirating again before justifying the parties they threw.
The second year we decided to do the gala, which everybody complained about. Not everybody, but some people were like up their ass about us like doing the gala. We decided to do that this year because the first year everybody got punched in the head, and then the very next day everybody's getting on planes, and we had all these feelings that we hadn't processed. The second year, which by the way, we knew that we had lost money on the event, and we had to go to the gala.
Yeah.
We had to go there. And everyone, and I really wish I could take everybody that's listening to this and put them in my, like, you know, like SpongeBob had plankton in his, like, head? Like, I wish I could put all the viewers in my fucking head. And so they could see.
Hey, how about only throwing one party, and that's it? Don't spend $20K in a comedian, and don't do a lavish gala. And don't invite a bunch of random friends to the event and wine and dine them. They then talk about the real reason Froggy Fresh was kicked from Creator Clash.
Like, I don't want to fucking tweet anything.
Yeah.
These fuckers are gonna, like, just constantly like ream me over this decision that was very fucking justified.
Yeah. Which and it had nothing to do with like the OnlyFans comment.
Yeah.
Which still like
oh yeah, there's loads of like things that we can talk about. I feel like, I mean, at this point it's like we're a year away from it now.
It's just crazy.
Yeah, there's still so much to that whole thing.
Yeah.
That people don't know.
I know.
And I'm like, you know, I want to respect, you know, a lot of the people that we talk to, you know, coaches primarily.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were a lot of very justifiable reasons.
Yeah, including like not showing up to training.
Yes.
Like there were so many, and I think a lot of people banked on us being fair and not sharing
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, and that is exactly what happened.
That's exactly what happened.
Tyler immediately responded to this, with him saying on Twitter that this was flat out lies. He said that the trainer they hired for him was an alcoholic who didn't find someone for Tyler to spar with. He then thanks the person who actually trained him, and respectfully tells Ian and Anisa to stop talking about him. When Boblax posted the segment, Tyler commented about other negative experiences he had with Creator Clash 2. I was also pissed when I found out I couldn't buy, out of my own pocket, a room for somebody close to me for my walkout because people like Hassan, Denims, Frogan, and all these other people who didn't promote the event had nothing to do with it, and were just taking up oxygen. We're given rooms at the hotel and were able to go to everything, but our own family and friends had strict limits. I don't care about going to a party. It just seemed disrespectful that the normal people were denied a room at the inn, so to speak, so Hassan can enjoy the open bar and free catering without having too many gross normies around him. Anisa then talks about how intense security had to be over Sam Hyde showing up.
We had to have the FBI involved. The FBI was involved. We had the police, the Tampa Bay police were involved. We had to track flight logs to see who was coming, who was flying in. For many, we had many names on that list. There were 2 bomb threats. We had 2 bomb threats. And because we had the FBI involved and all of this beforehand, we actually did a bunch of bomb sweeps with dogs during, before, after the event. It was insane.
Obviously, the bomb threats are unjustified, but having to track flight logs is hilariously ridiculous. Ever since this episode got leaked, I feel like Anisa's mental health has just been spiraling. Beezle has been clipping a lot of these moments for all of us to see, so let's check some out. First is when she tried owning the insult she always gets as a coping mechanism.
I like when people call me a succubus unironically because it means that I'm at least in some capacity hot to someone.
Right. You're achieving something.
I'm hot to someone.
Right.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
Because to be a succubus is,
Yeah,
hot.
think they're insulting you. They're like, you fucking succubus, you damn temptress,
Yeah.
you siren. And it's
I also like being called a witch.
Yeah.
I'm half Irish and we're pagan
right.
fucking witches.
These are all sick things for women to be.
Yeah, it's cool to be a witch.
Yeah, objectively badass.
Yeah. Succubus, witch, Yoko Ono.
Yeah.
All really good things.
Yeah, they're only bad if you inherently hate women.
Yeah, true.
Anisa would then expand upon this in a tweet, saying how inspirational Yoko Ono is.
She's awful. She's terrible. She can't sing. I love her.
Anisa then started solo streaming again, where she talks about Ian's IBS in her very first stream.
As soon as gluten enters his system, any gluten, his body thinks that he's it's a something bad. It attacks it, and so his intestines and stomach get inflamed.
I swear, half her problems would be solved if she just shut her damn mouth. On her next stream, she discussed some behind-the-scenes Creator Clash drama. Some guy who had been trying to get involved at the event had a lawyer investigate why it lost money, once again blaming Boblax.
The lawyer used the YouTube video to say that this was proof that we were pocketing money. So the point that I was making with that clip that got taken out of context again, or he just didn't understand what I was saying, is that we were in a shakedown lawsuit, and part of the reason why they thought that they could bark up our tree was because commentary YouTubers have no idea what it is to work a normal job, let alone put on a whole event, okay? You have no clue. You don't even know what it's like to clock in and have someone breathe down your neck. So don't tell me how much it costs. $100,000 does not even cost 1/4 of the broadcasting fees. So I don't know what crack these commentary YouTubers are on, but I want some. No, I know this is going on. I love how I didn't wear makeup today. I look disgusting as shit. But this will go on every and I don't care. I'm at the point. I don't care. I don't care anymore, because even when we don't say something, they think we're saying something. Do you know what I mean? Oh, thanks, guys. Thank you. Yeah, they're gonna assume shit, so I'm so over it. And I'm over them crying. They cry like they're the victims. Bro, you like made a video like with all these weird out-of-pocket assumptions. Like just so out of pocket. I don't know. I know a lot of them have never worked a real job. I know that for a fact. And if you have, you worked there for a week and you cried and you quit.
She continues going on about how hard she worked in the past, which really doesn't matter. Who cares that you worked at Denny's 15 years ago? Because all she does now is take nudes, record for a shitty podcast, and pretend to manage boxing events, which she doesn't even do right. Are people not allowed to question the real reason you lost $250,000 besides blaming it on pirating? This clip went pretty viral online, with some pretty great memes being made from it. However, there are some other really stupid things she said here. First, she talks about her confronting Rusty Cage at Creator Clash 2 over making a tweet she didn't like.
But you fuckers that are looking at this right now, I know that you would fucking cry if I said something to you in real life. I know you would cry. How do I know? Because I've done it to one of you fuckers in real life, and you have cried. You cried and apologized to me, and you even said that I made you feel like a bitch. And I'm glad that I did, to be honest. More people should do that to you.
To me, this sounds like a massive exaggeration. If you're not aware, Rusty Cage isn't even a commentary channel. He makes comedy videos, and occasionally retweets MDE related stuff. All he posted was a photo of people holding Froggy Fresh signs with the caption, "Oh no." Rusty talked about this in a Brandon Buckingham video.
I paid money, I'm on the floor seats, and I see like some shenanigans going down. I take a photo of it, it's just people holding up a sign. It said Froggy did nothing wrong. Like
seemingly innocuous.
Yeah, right. I go to this like after event and Anisa comes up to me. She comes up and says, that tweet was really not cool, and I just apologize. I felt kind of like a bitch. I was like, why the fuck did I apologize? What am I apologizing for? I don't even know this person. That's really not cool. Honestly, Anisa, it was very cool.
So if I took a picture of a sign that said Froggy Fresh did nothing wrong, that's kind of an uncool move. That's not cool. But if I'm your friend and I give you a few days notice to go fight a black guy that's way bigger than you, that's actually a cool move.
Idubbbz would then include the clip of Rusty saying he felt like a bitch with zero context in his Froggy Fresh video, which he responded to later in a podcast he does with Momkun Jones. Here he dives deeper into telling his side of things.
The next day, there was a party where all these, fake YouTube celebrities toot their own horns about how cool they are, and they all dress up and whatever, circle jerk. And so I was there. It was a little awkward. I met up with a couple cool people. Dave from Cyanide and Happiness, he was there. He was really chill. And then I was going to the bar to get a drink, and Anisa comes up to me, and she's like, hey, I just want to let you know that what you tweeted out was really not cool. And I was like,
so
wait,
she's
what?
joke policing your tweet about calling them the joke police?
I really wish that it was the joke police one, because that would have been the lamest shit. So I was like, what tweet are you talking about? Because I had also tweeted something kind of offensive about Abelina Sabrina. Do you know who that is?
No.
So she was one of the boxers in the event, and she was getting her ass whooped, and I was like, Sabrina hasn't taken this much abuse since she was with Gus.
Oh, that's old.
That's why whenever what's her name? Anisa. Whenever Anisa came up to me and was like, that tweet was not cool, that was the first thing that came to my mind. I was like, yeah, I guess that was a little bit, whatever. That maybe a little bit too far. So I asked, I was like, what tweet? And then she was like, the one that said Froggy Fresh did nothing wrong. I was like, fucking what? Like that.
She's more offended by that than by like the domestic abuse tweet.
Yeah. And so, in the situation, I was kind of taken off guard. I'm in line. I'm about to order. That's the thing. And then she comes up to me. I'm like, I'm sorry. Pretty much in that tone, because it wasn't like, I'm so sorry. It was just like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't really know how to respond.
Yeah.
Sorry that my lame tweet really fucking offended you. So she's like, I just want to say it's really not cool. And then walked away. I turned to the bartender. She's looking at me, and then we just kind of both shrug, and I continue to get my tequila.
I said, is this homeless woman harassing you, sir? And he said, no, I'm all right.
She's asking me for heroin.
Rusty then talks about his inclusion in the Idubbbz video.
So, all right, so I'm trying to remember the whole video, but yeah, it's him shitting on everyone, pretty much saying how everyone's like so viciously attacking him and attacking Anisa and talking about like, attacking his masculinity and things like that. At the end of the video, it's no commentary. It's just a clip of me and Brandon Buckingham's video where I was recounting that same story about, Anisa coming up to me. And then I apologize, but I was like, I don't know why I apologize. And then it cuts to a clip of Froggy Fresh saying, masculinity totally removed by Anisa. So it was a dig at me. I guess they were saying
What?
I got totally gotten demasculated or emasculated or whatever by Anisa.
That's a stretch and a half. I don't even understand what he thought he was doing there.
It seemed like something that she probably forced him to put in, but yeah, I definitely didn't really get the I wasn't offended by it because it was just confusing. It's like, what the fuck was the point of that?
Yeah. Why is he like he's attacking Rusty Cage out of nowhere when you have nothing to do with any of this?
All this is Anisa trying to seem all tough and intimidating, when all she did was approach Rusty out of nowhere and press him over a tweet. What does she expect him to do? Argue during the middle of a party? The guy honestly seems polite, while Anisa comes across as a crazy bitch. This is further proven in this clip.
This is the truth, okay? Ian keeps me on a leash, okay? And I'm okay with that because I need to be on a leash. I need to be on a leash, a tight leash, to be honest, because I am unhinged. I will just say shit.
Here's another clip from that stream I thought was hilarious.
Would Ian do OnlyFans? We've talked about it before. He kind of has. I don't know how much information I can give. Like hand cameos. I don't want to get in trouble. But I don't know, maybe.
In a different stream, Anisa said that Ian has been the one motivating her to continue doing OnlyFans.
If there's anyone that actually does keep me accountable, it is for like sticking to a job, it is Ian actually. Okay, I wanted to quit OF like so early on, and Ian was like, no, you promised 2 years at least. I'm gonna make you stick to it. And I did, and I still do it, so.
Ever since this all occurred, Anisa has been doing damage control in order to fend off the commentary bros.
It's interesting because when I did the rant that like got clipped and shared by like a bunch of people, I did that intentionally to be like ranty and interesting and eye-catching and like I did it with the intention of like getting it shared. And it's interesting how like how predictable that is, I guess. And it's cool. It makes you feel like, okay, like this is more predictable than like you would imagine that it is.
Let's be real here. She did not intend any of these clips to go viral. This was just her releasing her aggression into her own safe space. She's not some smart big brain troll like Sam Hyde. She's a moron who can't close her mouth unless you suck on someone's cock. This meme from Lyrics pretty much sums it all up. Hey guys, look at how retarded I am. Her. Fuck off, retard. Joke's on them, I was only pretending. Only a few days later, Anisa would talk about this on her podcast of Ian, where they once again try to cope.
It's like, I don't know, who are you gonna piss off other than like a bunch of incels? Like, yeah. And people who are just already mad at you.
I know, yeah, that's kind of, I was like,
it's like,
whatever.
What are there new people lining up? You know, it's like Pokimane waiting in the wings, like watching your stream. All right,
better not say anything mean about me.
Anyways, more coping would occur in the next episode, after Ian's disastrous appearance on Cold Ones. Basically, Ian filmed a video of his old pals Max Melfo and Anything for Views. It was supposed to be reminiscent of the Cake Trilogy, though instead, Ian spent the whole time staring off into the distance and basically adding nothing. The top comment reads, "You guys are lucky he could fit you in between his wife's tattoo appointments." This is in reference to the fact that Ian did not show up to Max's wedding, since he had to accompany Anisa to one of her tattoo appointments, as if she doesn't have 50 of those already. In response to these comments, Ian says that this is an experiment he's been doing to tone down his emotions. This to me isn't true, as he's been like this for the past 2 years now.
So I was like, I think I'll experiment with me being a little bit more like toned down, how I would be in real life. That video I recorded with Max and Chad, that is much closer to how I behave in real life.
That's not a good thing. You used to be confident, Idubbbz. You used to eat cake made out of your own hair and review pickles in the sewer. Now you're ranking playground equipment on a political compass and playing with Thanos fidget toys with no energy at all. The last thing I want to touch on here is Anisa's secret Twitter account, where she seems to shit talk quite a lot. I don't have any actual screenshots of tweets, but the replies tell us everything we ought to know. So for some context to this first one, Beezle posted a stream clip from a while ago where Ian and Anisa give some brain-dead take about there being no sidewalks in Texas. Dojangles, who a lot of you will know as the wife of Mudahar of Some Ordinary Gamers, then quote tweeted this with, "I walk to a lot of places in different parts of Texas. Pseudo-intellectualism strikes again." Anisa apparently saw this tweet and ranted about it, though we're not fully sure. What I am sure of is that a lot of these other posts are just her swinging out about the hate she gets. These people who follow her constantly shower her of love and support as if she's always begging for it. What I don't understand is why she doesn't just do some sort of private Discord server where everyone is vetted. It took me 5 seconds to find all these replies, and now we know she's trying to have a baby, which I honestly didn't want to know. Geez, imagine little greasy goblin babies running around. And then when they get to school, they'll get bullied for having a mom who did OnlyFans. Oh, and as I was editing this, Anisa is seemingly defending Chris Tyson. I mean, this person is saying Chris did nothing wrong. Oh, and here's 2 tweets of Anisa mentioning Shadman, a known lolicon artist. This one is a reply to him. Not a good look, Anisa. At the core of it all, my main issues with Anisa as a person is her crybaby attitude, reliance on those around her to stay relevant, and worst of all, her ability to not just shut the fuck up. Doing that would change a lot of opinions about her. She is her own worst enemy, yet she'll never realize it. In fact, she has a history of blaming others for her own actions, never taking accountability. And isn't that what people claim Ian did last year? She blamed her chatters in her previous university setting on her Holocaust statement, blamed Boblax and other commentary channels for Critter Clash's failure, blames incels for the hate she gets on her OF, and blames loved ones for starting drama. She's never changed, she's always been a hypocrite, and she's always been an unlikable cunt. What makes people dislike her more is how much of a crybaby she can be. She'll spend her time shit-talking others, even those who don't deserve it, and then get surprised when she gets that level of hate back. She'll then use Ian as a shield and fuck off for a while. Recently, she's been trying to embrace the hate, but it'll only keep her relevant temporarily before the next lolcow starts drama. The only people supporting her are 2 groups, the male simps and the female simps. The male ones think of her as a walking sex object and subscribe to her OF, while the female ones constantly engage with her on Twitter because they identify with her in some way. They're probably just as mentally deranged. Something that I especially hate is that she tries to engage with these people as privately as possible, still leaving gaps for others to find. If you're going to shit-talk people, do it in public or you're just a pussy. Honestly, I don't know where her future is headed. Her and Ian will probably do another creator clash and have it fail, as they won't take any advice they get. It'll just be 20 no-name YouTubers, someone who was popular 15 years ago, and Ian fighting for an event that loses more money for charity. Anisa will just say she's concussed again and won't fight. Who do I think she should fight? Get her to fight Taylor from Fish Tank. Let the girl give Anisa the old Haymaker. Also, Anisa better look out for Frank Hassel. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this massive episode. If there's anyone else you think I should cover next, let me know below. Bye.
You can make Anisa and Ian break up for $33.
Enter the first names and dates of birth if you have it. Okay. This is about to be them.
If they break up, do you get a relationship with one of the members of the Holy Union?
I think initially you can just buy that.
Yeah, but she has a separate Etsy page.
Yeah, and this has got a separate Etsy page where she sells her pussy. You might find they will break up in the near future. You will feel solid knowing they are unstable.
Okay.
They become unsteady and you can see it. They radiate. Oh, they already do radiate bad energy. Please don't make them feel sad. Just Anisa. Make her feel really bad. Hee hee.
Idubbbz is probably one of the very few males on this planet I would let him penetrate me and never call me again and I'd be okay with it.